uniforms are the plainest of blue and white, but they belong to one of the most decorated programs in the history of college bowl games. On the shoulders of a relentless defense, Penn State has made it 8 straight on New Year's Day, and the hits just keep on coming. The Kentucky Wildcats haven't suited up for a major bowl in nearly half a century. Yet when Tim Couch and his teammates gathered before the season, there was but one goal, one date they talked about. Mission accomplished. An estimated 40,000 Bluegrass faithful have made their way here to Tampa, and plenty more from the shadows of Mount Nittany. This game is a complete sellout. Could they be witnessing the final collegiate game of Kentucky's favorite son? We will wait and see as the Wildcats take on the Nittany Lions here at the 1999 Outback Bowl. You're looking at a live shot of Tampa, Florida, Raymond James Stadium, our new digs for the 1999 Outback Bowl. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin, and Happy New Year to you and your family. Hope you had a great evening last night and ready to settle back and take in some college football today. This is a huge football game as far as the program for the University of Kentucky. In fact, C.M. Newton is pulling out all the stops. He's doing everything he can to ignite this football team. Yesterday, he gave Hal Mumme a brand new 5-year contract. He's taken him from the bottom of the heap almost to the top of the heap. It's $4 million over that 5 years. He realizes he's got stability with Tubby Smith at basketball, and he feels as though Mumme can bring him that same thing in football. Also, there is a rumor afloat that Cleveland just might be looking for a veteran quarterback rather than a rookie. Tim Couch, will he stay? Will he go? I think this, if he is not the #1 choice in the NFL draft, Tim Couch comes back next year. C.M. Newton wants to make sure that his ducks are in a row and that Hal Mumme is there to lead this football team. What about Penn State on the other side of the line? Joe Paterno told me an interesting thing yesterday. He said all year long we've played defense. We've kept our offense under wraps. He said this is a bowl game. I'm going to let these guys go out and have fun. I may turn them loose tomorrow. Turn them loose to Joe. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Mike Gottfried and Adrian Karsten are standing by. It's the 1999 edition of the Outback Bowl from Tampa when we return. A very noisy stadium filled to capacity here at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. As Kentucky takes the field, Tim Couch, all eyes on him today. Mike Gottfried, he is the emotional leader of this football team, and he does so much. This is the first time that we have been able to see him in person, and I know that I'm excited to not just watch him on videotape. I want to see what the young man can do right here in the flesh.
Ron, we've seen a lot of good quarterbacks this year, but Tim Couch can do it all. Has a very quick release. He's accurate, and Kentucky will put him in the shotgun a lot, try to protect him against this Penn State defense.
Let me ask you about a comparison. Tuesday night, we saw K-State taken out of their defense because of Purdue, spreading people out all over the field. My question to you is, can Kentucky do that same thing to Penn State's defense today?
I don't think so, Ron, and the reason is Kentucky's more of a two-back offense, so I think Penn State can stay in with their linebackers. Penn State's got an excellent defense, and when you look at a passing team, the best pass defense is a pass rush. And LeVar Arrington, the 6'3 sophomore, will come inside, he'll come outside on Kentucky. And the matchup that may give Kentucky the biggest problems, Courtney Brown, 6'5", 265-pound defensive end, because he roars up the field and gets after quarterbacks. And Ron, I think it's a game of tempo, whether Kentucky can start the tempo with a passing game or Penn State the running game. And Penn State's only given up 30 points the first quarter.
Joe Paterno, 33rd season at Penn State, 306 victories, 80 losses and 3 ties. The percentage, as you can see, right at 80%, and 18 bowl wins. Across the way, 12-10 in his second season. Hal Mumme coaching in his first ever bowl game. And in listening to him yesterday at his news conference, he is very excited about this day for himself but primarily for his football team. The weather, well, the Chamber of Commerce could not have done a better job. 70 degrees, humidity 65%. It's just an absolutely wonderful day. Clear skies, not a chance of rain, and the wind is not going to be a factor in this one today. Adrian Karsten, we have a moment. Let's check in on the sideline with you.
Ron, Happy New Year to you, sir, and all of our friends who watch college football. As much as Tim Couch claims and is Kentucky's offense, LeVar Arrington claims that he is and is Penn State's defense. Had a conversation with him 2 days ago, and he said he is a pit bull. More on that as the game goes along. He said, Adrian, by the time this game is over, Kentucky's colors aren't going to be white and blue. They're going to be black and blue. I have something to say, and you're going to hear it with the way I hit people. Ron, his words. It's going to be fun to watch him today.
Well, that's, as some might say in the state of Kentucky, they're fighting words right there. But LeVar can back it up, and that's what college football is about. As Tim Couch on the sideline, this team came out very early. Mike and I discussed. Now, the pregame show was a bit long, so they had to, but they were out here an hour and 40 minutes before kickoff. And Couch was the first man out of the tunnel and out there loosening up and throwing. He wants to put on a good show today.
Yeah, I think they're anxious. Both teams are anxious. You know, you look at this Penn State team, very young team, Ron. 66 of their top 72 players will be back next year. So both young football teams.
Travis Forney, Jr. out of Lock Haven. And Craig East, you looked at him just a moment ago, a real burner. And a guy that Penn State knows they're going to have to keep a close eye on today, not only on kick returns, but also on pass routes. Because if East gets a step on you, there are not many people in this stadium that can match him step for step or catch him. Tell you, I woke up this morning. I know I went to bed in Florida last night. I thought I woke up in the state of Kentucky. I have never seen so many people wearing Kentucky blue. They are talking about in the vicinity of 40,000 people in here for this football game from the Commonwealth. Truly incredible the way they follow their team. We're underway. East has this one bound 4 yards deep in the end zone. He will not return it. Let's look at the starters for Kentucky in offense. Tim Couch, and he will have Derek Homer and Anthony White behind him. Now, the two wide receivers that start are Yeast and McCord, but we'll see as many as 8 or 9. Jimmy Haley is the tight end. With the offensive line, the thing that we got to keep an eye on, Streck is playing with an injury to his leg. Don't know how long he can go. Devon has had to move up to center. Mike, these are guys that don't have a lot of playing time.
No, it's the key that Jeremy Streck stay in this football game.
First down, first pass. Nope, going to run it, and he is going to be hit and knocked down after a gain of about 3. And it's Courtney Brown who registers the first of what probably will be many tackles. As we take a look at the starters, and you just look on the outside, Brown and Scioli, these two guys are two you can go to war with against anybody. The linebackers, very good. Arrington and Short get all the pub. Matt Morrison, probably the most complete of the linebackers. Macklin, King, Lee, and Fox in the secondary. Running play. And it's going to be Anthony White. And he'll have the Kentucky first down as he takes it out across the 34.
That's what Kentucky can do to you. Same thing we saw the other night with Purdue. Hit the draws on you because all of a sudden your defensive line is worried about getting to Tim Couch and then hit the draw under him with Anthony White.
This time 3 wide receivers come out to the left, which is the bottom of your screen as we look from this angle right here. And now they send a motion man. Ball is fumbled momentarily, and then he gets the pass complete to the 40. That's Whalen, the tight end, and he will take it, stays inbounds at the 40-yard line. That's going to be a gain of about 7.
And Ron, when you look at statistics, Tim Couch coming into this game, 400 completions out of 553 passes, 72%. So he's very, very accurate throwing the football. 36 touchdown passes.
Well, he is a big fella. And one of the things that concerns the Penn State defense is the fact that at 6'5", 225, you got to hit him pretty hard. Here comes a reverse. McCord has the Kentucky first down in the vicinity of the 45. Courtney Brown registers his second tackle in this early going.
And I've said so many times, Paul Brown, the great coach of the Cleveland Browns and then the Bengals, used to talk about a reverse play early in the game. You always want to do your trick play before the opponent does, and do it early in the ball game.
That's an interesting philosophy, Mike.
Kentucky, 3 rushes, 18 yards. They got them spread out all over the field again. It's Robinson in motion. Flag is down. They throw it complete, and that's Haley. And the tight end is close to the first down, but let's check the marker back at the line of scrimmage. Sean Lee made the tackle for the Nittany Lions.
May have been on LeVar Arrington. Number 11, the linebacker, a little bit early. Ron, this is a nice drive for Kentucky. Remember, now Penn State has only given up 30 points the entire season in the first quarter.
Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator, 31 years at Penn State. By the way, the referee today, the officials are from the Atlantic Coast Conference, and James H. Knight is the referee.
Defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Everything's so quick for Kentucky, the throws. It's tough to get to Tim Couch because he releases the ball so quickly.
The remainder of the officials doing the proper thing and not moving the football until they knew whether the penalty was going to be taken. They will take it because it gives them a 1st and 5. They give up about 3 yards, but they get first down again. So that's what the delay was. Kentucky won the toss, and as you would imagine, there's no deferring on their part. They want to get that offense on the field. That's Derek Homer, a sophomore out of Fort Knox, bouncing around in the backfield, and that's going to be an illegal procedure against the Wildcats.
Yeah, right tackle. I believe it's Chris Comstock, number 70, just came out of his stance. A little nervous here early in the ball game.
Even as good as Couch is, as experienced as he is, do you think that maybe Mummy has scripted a goodly part of his opening series just so that everybody's on the same page?
Yeah, a lot of teams do that now, and they practice it, they talk about it, they walk through the night before, so you have a lot of confidence in your early game plan.
Couch sets deep, screen pass. Oh, that is a nice job defensively as Homer is hit and just wrecked up. LeVar Arrington, one of the first men to get across. It's going to be a loss of 5, and also Brandon Short.
Yeah, Brandon Short was right there. Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator, calls him the catalyst that makes us go on defense. Excellent linebackers. You talk about Arrington, he'll get to the football. Brandon Short, number 43, the first one to arrive on Derek Homer.
Well, they smell that one out quickly. Second down. It's a second down at about 14 yards for the first. Turning the corner. White. Close to the 50-yard line, bounced out of bounds by Derek Fox, a junior out of Canton, Ohio.
Ron, they blocked LeVar Arrington on that play. And again, you're constantly thinking, if you're Penn State, I've got to get to Tim Couch. I want to put a rush on him. So you slow him down a little bit with the block on the corner. Right here, Arrington gets tripped up a little bit with a nice block by the receiver.
Third down. And the Wildcats need the 45 of Penn State to keep this drive going. 44% during the season. Short drop out of the flat, and the ball is almost taken away by Mac Morrison. The ball being tipped around by Anthony White, and he almost came up with a pickoff.
Ron, very close, and I said in the beginning, and I think this is true, somebody's going to set the tempo here. Either it's going to be Kentucky with the passing game or Penn State with the running game, and that tempo will win this football game.
Branch is the deep man for the Nittany Lions. Jimmy Carter stands back to punt. As you look at Branch right there, and he's looking into a very bright and high sky. You can see him shielding his eyes. This is a difficult task right now because of where the sun is sitting. It's very high and very bright. Carter, and it's blocked. He just took his sweet time. I don't know what was happening.
Ron, I don't even believe. I think you're right. I don't think that was a punt rush at all, but you always have. Yeah, Sturdivant, Eric Sturdivant, number 58, gets through, but you always have somebody checking the punter. But you can see right now they've got 2 or 3 men rushing. They're trying to hold up at 58. Sturdivant gets good push, and Jimmy Carter gets that punt block.
I think if you put that on real time, 1,001, 1,002, he was really slow. So let's see if Penn State can take advantage of the first real break of this ball game. McCoo straight ahead. He'll take it for about 3 yards at left tackle. Offensively for Penn State, this is the way they go. Kevin Thompson with Ciaramella and Eric McCoo, the running backs. The wide receivers, Nastasi and Corey Jones. Cuncho Brown is the tight end. And with the offensive line, they have a huge advantage here, but particularly on the left side. Floyd Wedderburn is right at 335 pounds, and he stands 6'5" from Upper Darby. He is an outstanding blocker. You'll see him run that direction a lot today. Dump pass over the middle. Cuncho Brown, I believe, was the intended receiver. And now Penn State with a 3rd down situation. Defensively for Kentucky, Crow, Jacobs, Major, and Johnson, the down 4. The linebackers, Snedeker, Rader, and Wesley. And in the secondary, it is Kelly, Marvin Love. He's the fastest man back there. He's a 4-2 sprinter. Zerker and David Johnson rounding out the safeties. Crowd comes to life. Kentucky wanting that defense to stand up big. Lofts the pass, got a man, and he can't hold on at the 5-yard line. Shafi Fields, the intended receiver, and actually a very nice touch by Thompson on the ball.
Well, Kevin Thompson saw exactly what he wanted defensively. He had bump and run all over the line of scrimmage. He's going to try to get the ball to Shafi Fields against Marvin Love, the defensive back. Had a nice touch on the ball. Should have been caught.
But they are lining up Travis Forney for what would appear to be a 51-yard field goal. The longest is 50 that he kicked this year against Minnesota. On the season, Forney was 20 of 29. Thompson the holder. Good pass. It's not going to be nearly long enough. Wide to the right and short. So the blocked punt does not hurt Kentucky, and their faithful are up and cheering. We'll take a break. 10:47 remaining. First quarter. Kentucky, Penn State, no score. The University of Tampa in the scenic downtown area. Mike, we just noticed a change. Streck has had to come out of the lineup. Josh Parrish replaces him. Josh hadn't played a lot.
No, inexperience at the center position. Nolan Devon and Josh Parrish. Let's see if Penn State can take advantage of them, and then maybe Adrian Karsten will let us know what happened to Streck.
Counts 2 of 3 for 4 yards in the early going. Here they come with the blitz. They go with the run, and they break it. 5, 10, counted off at about 12 yards for Derek Homer. And he's slapping the ground because he knows they caught him in the right call. He could have popped it.
A great call by Hal Mummy because it works out very well. The blitz was coming to the other side. You're going to see Penn State try to hit the blitz right over here, and the ball is going to come away from the blitz. And a good block by Kentucky, blocking down. Nice play call at the right time.
Kentucky averaging 7.2 yards per rush so far, but not on this one. Homer hit by Courtney Brown. We've got Brown already for at least 3 tackles in this ball game. He has just been sensational this entire season.
Ron, I just think this is the matchup that's going to give Kentucky fits this whole ball game because Courtney Brown, according to Michigan's Carr, the head coach, he said he's, in my judgment, the best pass rusher I've seen in the last 10 years. So that takes into account a lot of good players in the Big Ten.
They may have to become a very right-handed team, but then they're running at Scioli. Play action, Couch's pass complete to the tight end, and he's going to be dumped after a gain of 5. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, Hal Mummy does not hit during the week. Hasn't since 2 days began back in August. That has backfired on Streck, the offensive tackle. He is the best pass blocker they have. It's not that he has strained the knee any more than it was injured before the game started. It's just that he took a hit on it. And he's not used to taking hits like that from a fast physical defense like Penn State.
Okay, it's a good point, Adrian. Now, They need to get him back because, as Mike said, and Mike's exactly right, that's a difficult situation with Josh Parrish just not having much playing experience.
Ron, I think what happens on this play, Nolan DeVaughn moved the ball as a center position. He went up, gets set, and moved the ball a little bit, and going to get called for 5 yards here. The other key for Penn State's keeping everything in front of them. You mentioned Yeast. Yeast's a great player. They need to keep the ball in front of them and come up and make jarring tackles and try to make you pay. 5 yards for a headache.
As you look at Streck on the sideline, he's a senior from Cincinnati, but DeVaughn at center and Josh Parrish, who is in replacing Streck, both are redshirt freshmen. Got incomplete. Whalen, the tight end, fighting for the first down, and he's not going to have it. Now here's the question. It's a gain of 13. Does Hal Mumme, he is big on gambling on 4th down. Is this the first gamble of the afternoon, Mike?
I don't know against Penn State because Penn State didn't look good in their first 3 plays on offense. So, you know, you take into consideration your defense held him. He's going to go for it right here.
38 punts, 33 conversion attempts on 4th down this season. And right now, unless you're going to try to get them with a hard count to jump offside, which would be a first down, Kentucky is going for it. They fake the reverse, and they reverse it the other way. Here's Yeast.
Excellent call, Ron. An excellent call. You got to give Hal Mumme credit. And Woody Woodenhofer the coach at Vanderbilt, had a nice quote. He said, Couch is the best player in the SEC. Yeast is the second best, and you show the exciting speed of Craig Yeast to get that first down.
So Penn State looked up. They thought they had the reverse covered, and all of a sudden they reversed it the other direction. First down, Kentucky. Just under 8 minutes to play, opening quarter. Couch, lots of time, and deep over the middle. That one just a little too high, and there is a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I've been in that situation on the sidelines when you say, oh, it's a reverse in good shape, and all of a sudden you say, no, it's a double reverse going the other way.
Oh, my. Yeah, you could see that look on Jerry Sandusky's face. I'm sure that Jerry is thinking, move clock, move clock. Let's don't spend a great deal of time here this afternoon.
Well, that's what Fran Ganner said, the offensive coordinator of Penn State. He said, Jerry Sandusky said, we want you to keep the ball so we don't have to play on that field that much.
You know, a point. Paterno's teams this year, the 2 longest drives came against Purdue, and it's when they were trying to play ball control.
Purdue, a similar offense, a little bit different than Kentucky's, but similar.
First down and 5 following the penalty. Here comes the blitz again, but they pick it up nicely. Couch going to go long, and he's got a man there. Touchdown, Mickelson.
Protection. That was the key because Penn State came on a blitz. The Kentucky offensive line picked everything up, gave Tim Couch time to find Mickelson for the touchdown.
Matt Mumme is the holder. Hansen with the extra point attempt, and he's good. One more look. Lance Mickelson, a senior out of Snow College in Utah. 7-0. Kentucky goes on top. So Kentucky goes on the scoreboard first. 7-0.
What made the play, Ron, was an excellent pass protection.
Hello, Kentucky football. Hello.
Mickelson.
Here's the protection. Tim Couch, the blitz by the linebackers. Mac Morrison. Tim Couch again with good field presence, slides to the left. A little cheap fake. You see the nice blocking. Moves to the left. Lance Mickelson working down the field. He got behind Sean Lee. Good position by Mickelson.
You know, and Sean Lee was right there. I mean, it had a hand up, which, you know, normally is enough of a distraction.
Nicholson 6'3", Sean Lee 5'7", so he used that position.
Drummond fights his way out across the 30. College basketball coming up on Sunday over on ESPN2. A great one for the ACC as Duke takes on the Maryland Terrapins, 1:30 Eastern. Then the season debut of college hoops tonight with your host Dave Feldman. That comes your way before and after the evening game from Conference USA. Cincinnati Bearcats against the Marquette Golden Eagles, 9:30, only on the Deuce. So Tim Couch shows a great touch on the football. McCoo is going to go for a couple, maybe three. Mike, I mentioned Wedderburn, and he starts off on the left side, but they flip him, don't they? Wherever it's advantageous.
They do, and they usually go. He usually goes to the split inside. I talked to several pro scouts. They say he's a definite first rounder, can dominate a ball game, and that's where Penn State, early in this ball game, their 2 runs, they've tried to go behind Floyd Wedderburn.
Joe Paterno really likes this young man. He talked about him at length yesterday at his news conference, saying he's so happy he finally got a position and he's locked in on it. Pass complete to the 41 at Shoffley Fields. Pushed out of bounds just across the 40. And again, Penn State's going to have a third down at about 4 yards for the first.
Yeah, Kevin Thompson, you look at his numbers there, 121 of 226 for 1,691 yards. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Fran Ganner said he has all the intangibles. He doesn't look like a great quarterback, but he runs the team well, great at the line of scrimmage, and has poise and doesn't let anything get him down.
Penn State to throw on third down, got it complete to the big tight end Tony Stewart, and with that second effort he's going to have the first down plus about 3. David Johnson defensively and the initial first down for Penn State.
Yeah, and here's where I thought Penn State would go in this ball game, having coached against them many times. They feel like they're big and strong and a lot stronger than Kentucky, and I thought they'd go to 2 tight ends and see if they could balance them out. As of yet, we have not seen 2 tight ends.
Thompson to McCoo as a blocker in front. McCoo loose and out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Eric Kelly, it is as though McCoo was so much quicker than they thought when he turned the corner. 25 yards.
And again, it goes back to Penn State's philosophy. Is it's 2 different philosophies in this ball game. It's one, run the ball by Penn State, a nice block right out of here by Gabe Tincher to get McCoo on the outside. Kentucky's a passing team. That's their philosophy. They'll live and die with it. Penn State's a run football team.
Well, we'll see if the Nittany Lions have an answer to that Kentucky touchdown as McCoo bounces to the outside, and then that's a nice job by Snedeker. Jeff Snedeker, a junior out of Salesville, Ohio, makes the tackle.
Snedeker was recruited out of high school. He was a quarterback, played safety in high school as the team co-captain.
And he has 4.5 speed at that linebacking position. And he is, the coaches say, he's really kind of deceptive because he weighs 240, but he doesn't look like he's quite that big.
And Ron, the second leading tackler on this Kentucky defense.
2 tight ends for the Nittany Lions here. McCoo, by the way, 4 carries, 31 yards. Nastasi in motion. Thompson rolls the pipe, got him in wide open, and he will walk. Oh, he dropped the football. Tony Stewart is about to score and make this thing even, and he forgot something. Well, oh, my goodness.
Well, you talked about the Kentucky punt nonchalant. This was Tony Stewart here. He almost nonchalantly just didn't take the ball in with him.
Like he looks like the first guy out to the workout. Look at this.
Kevin Thompson, good fake, 2 tight ends. Just looked like he was going to run in that end zone, celebrate, get the band director going, and just forgot the football.
Oh, my goodness. Tony, a sophomore out of Allentown, 6'5", 256. So it's third down for the Nittany Lions. Thompson going for the end zone. Had Nastasi open and just beyond his outstretched arms. And now Penn State's going to have to go for 3 points.
Well, you talk about misfire now. I don't know if I've seen 2 receivers as wide open as Nastasi and Tony Stewart, and one, you drop the ball, two, you don't get it to him.
Teammates talking to Tony on the sideline, saying, hey, shake it off, it's okay.
Long game.
43-yard field goal attempt. They tried one a moment ago from 51. Travis Forney, junior out of Lock Haven. Gets a good pass, and he splits it. So Penn State is on the scoreboard with 5:25 left in his opening quarter. They missed a golden opportunity at a touchdown. It is 7-3 Kentucky. We'll be right back. Well, those beautiful shots of the new stadium, the Tommy Hilfiger airship flying at an altitude of 1,500 feet. Providing these spectacular shots above Raymond James Stadium and all around the Tampa area. And as the end bump came in there, you could see the old stadium sitting right next door. To that side is where the Bucks are going to build a complete complex, or administrative offices, workout facility, and what have you. There it is. 1 year ago, right now, we were freezing. It was about 45 degrees and the wind was blowing 35 miles an hour. And the new digs here are just spectacular. This is a great stadium.
Almost seems a shame to tear that down, though. But
I agree with you, but you know, you're going to plant daisies in it. I don't know what else you can do with it right now, Michael. A lot of concrete to come down over there, though. There's Craig East, number 3. 4-point game, Kentucky on top. And it's going to be East from the 5. He suckered him, and that is a nice open field tackle as he got tripped up by Matt Joyner. Matt gets him by the ankle, otherwise he might still be going.
Yeah, they lost contain, Ron, and when you kick off and your kick players come down the field, you stay in your lanes. You don't get suckered in the inside, and Craig Yeast did that to the Penn State defensive players. Matt Joyner finally with a hit.
31 yards on the return. White and Simon are the running backs for Kentucky. Throws it back. That's White on the screen. Quick recovery. Anthony King comes up. Fleischhauer as well, number 95.
Very good play calling here early by Hal Mumme, because he's keeping the Penn State rush at bay with his play calling. A little quick couple reverses, a quick screen. That'll slow down Courtney Brown and Scioli and Jones.
Boy, high pass, but does a nice job of gathering it in and throws it complete over the middle, and that's Coleman. There was a flag down back at the quarterback. It's good for 41, but Courtney Brown is standing back there saying, bring it back. We got offensive holding.
And it may have been on, I think, the left tackle. I believe it was Matt Brown against Courtney Brown.
One thing that I have to think has maybe surprised Penn State in this early going, and that is the speed of these outside folks for Kentucky.
I don't think there's any doubt. Matt Brown right here against Courtney Brown, but you're right, the speed of the receivers. They're misjudging it. I'm
not sure that Penn State was anticipating this kind of burner type speed of the outside, but it's not just Yeast. You saw Coleman in, and Powell, he was gone and free.
Well, early in this ball game, the receivers are wide open.
Yep, both teams.
Yeah. One's taking the ball with them.
Yeah. Jerry Sandusky on the sideline, 31 years at Penn State, the defensive coordinator. You can see we have 4:35 left in this opening quarter. Couch got him complete, and again it's Coleman, and he gets pounded pretty good, but I believe it's enough for the first down. It's going to be close. May have to have a measurement on this as we check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian.
Ron, I'm not going to blame the sunlight for the previous touchdown that Kentucky scored on the defensive backs, but they were the first ones to complain when they came off to the sideline. The sun is in a position right now, if you're looking directly into it, you keep your eyes on it. Actually, it's better than looking at it, turn your head. Looking at it, turn your head. The defensive backs are having more trouble looking at the sun right now than the Kentucky receivers.
Very difficult for Penn State right now. As Couch retreats, and there's his safety valve. It's Homer. Boy, he gets really popped hard and knocked out of bounds, but it's going to be a gain of about 8. Mac Morrison is out there to make the hit.
I like Tim Couch's feel for the ball game right here. Watch what happens right here, Ron. You just get a 3-man rush, so he knows that Penn State's dropping 8, so he dumps the football off to Derek Homer, the safe throw to pick up good yardage, about 8 or 9 yards.
I mean, Morrison really put a lick on him. 6 straight completions. Now here comes the pressure. Sciota got a man wide open at the 20-yard line. Mickelson, but there is a marker down at the line of scrimmage. Let's check it. Kentucky says it is against Penn State. Penalty declined, and Mickelson with his second big play of the afternoon. It will be a first down for the Wildcats just inside the 20-yard line.
And in this type of ball game, Ron, the thing I think right now is Jerry Sandusky's got to do a good job of substituting, because he's going to have a tired front four chasing Tim Couch.
That's a good point.
Ball will be spotted on the.
You see the athleticism of Couch as he got out of the pocket and away from the pressure. Mickelson, by the way, 2 catches now, 66 yards, and the touchdown. Cord in motion. Couch, oh, he's got him unattended again. And he will score. Anthony White. Yards, and I mean White really put a move on and made the defensive back look very bad.
Ron, they had a pick on all the way, a couple picks, and Anthony White come out of the backfield. There was nobody to defend him.
Hansen with the extra point attempt, and he's good. We have 3:51 left of the opening quarter. And the man with the new contract right now is halfway to a smile as you look at it again.
Yeah, the pick was inside. Anthony White came outside. Derek Fox with a missed tackle. And again, I think they're underestimating the speed of Kentucky.
I don't think there's any question.
There's the missed tackle. Anthony White walks in for the touchdown. You can see all the inside routes that both Kentucky wide receivers went inside, picked the linebackers. And this is not the type of game Penn State wants to get into.
No, in fact, I would look for them to come out and try to play ball controlled on this series coming up and try to get it back in hand. Joe Paterno pacing impatiently on the sideline, and for good reason, because in this first quarter, if you were scoring a fight, it would definitely a much higher number for Kentucky. They would have 10.
A couple knockdowns.
Yeah. Andy Smith to kick it off. Short kick. Drummond from the 8-yard line. The Bowl Championship Series starts later today over on ABC, and coming up Sunday on ESPN Classic, the great #1 and #2 bowl games of years past on Classic Championship Series. 3 Sugar Bowls: Alabama-Miami, 1993. Penn State-Georgia, the 83 game. Alabama-Penn State, 79. And the 1975 Rose Bowl, USC against Ohio State. That's Sunday night on ESPN Classic.
Ron, Penn State comes out in 2 tight ends. Now, this is what I thought you'd see a little bit more of a little earlier.
Gonna throw it. And has it complete up at the 42 to Nastasi. And that's good for the first down. Eric Kelly with the cover. It's 15 yards.
Well, Kevin Thompson's come out throwing the ball. And again, what Kentucky forces you to do is match them, and all of a sudden Penn State's starting to throw the ball a little bit more. Kevin Thompson battled Rashard Casey for the quarterback job, won it because of his knowledge of the offense.
Tony Stewart, the tight end who dropped that potential touchdown a while ago. He's top of the screen and in motion. Here comes the run with Aaron Harris. Harris is going to be close to the 50. It'll be a gain of 7.
Aaron Harris on the carry here for
Senior out of Exton.
So 5 touchdowns this year out of Aaron Harris.
You know, he had an ACL. Fran Gattner said that he lost about a half step, and he really has not regained it, but is a very tough kid. 5'11", 231, a senior. Stewart again in motion. Deep drop this time by Thompson. Flag is down. And Thompson's going to take it out of bounds at around the 48. And there's a headgear all the way down at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, Floyd Wedderburn, his helmet came flying off. May have been pulled off.
I don't know exactly what, but it was a sand wedge away from the line of scrimmage. I can tell you that. My sand wedge. 2:34 left in this first quarter. 14-3.
Wedderburn's working against Dennis Johnson, the big freshman, the USA Defensive Player of the Year when he came out of high school, 6'7", 256. So that's a good matchup.
Dennis on the sidelines. 2 tight ends again. First down. The ball at the 46-yard line of Kentucky. Harris hit behind the line of scrimmage. That is Zerker from his free safety position. And what had happened is the lead blocker got jammed and he couldn't get around him in the backfield.
Yeah, he's the leading tackler on this defense out of his safety position, 6'1", 207.
So Harris comes out. Eric McCoo checks back in, the freshman out of Red Bank, New Jersey.
Outstanding student, Jeff Zerker, nominated for a Rhodes Scholar.
Mike Ceramelli. He throws the block, and then in the flat, it's McCoo. Lowers his shoulder close to the first down, and let's see where he steps out of bounds. About a couple of yards shy is Kenneth Grant. Knocked him out of bounds.
Nice little fake to Ceramelli. Then a good block. Penn State needs a drive. They need to rest their defense a little bit. They need to put 7 on the board.
You just joined us. Kentucky 14-3. 2 touchdown passes. 1 of 3 in third down conversions and nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. As Ceramelli got hit in the backfield and just couldn't move it an inch.
No lead blocker for Penn State. They just gave the ball to the fullback, Mike Ceramelli, met in the line of scrimmage by Mark Jacobs, who Mike Major, the defensive coordinator, says the glue that keeps our defense together.
Pat Pigeon, a senior out of Mayfield, comes on, and he's the punter. It's 4th down at about 1.5 yards, but Joe Paterno is not going to take any chances. Off the side of his foot. It is actually going to serve a pretty good purpose here. Rather than knocking it into the end zone, look at this thing. It's going to go dead at the 6-yard line. 33 yards in the kick, but Kentucky is going to scrimmage from very deep in their own territory. Well, Kentucky is good at catching the defense out of position, which is a major concern for Joe Paterno.
Sometime in the game, they're going to be somebody's going to be in a position he doesn't want to be in, and we don't want him in. I mean, they're going to make us do that. And when that happens, you keep your fingers crossed and hope we guess right and they guess wrong.
Yep, that's what happens when you play a team that is multiple as this group. Couch, hit, and that's going to be a safety. Courtney Brown. Well, for everybody sitting at home thinking, well, Joe Paterno should have gone for that 4th down, this is good reason why. There is a flag down on the play. Offsides, Penn State. Oh, my goodness.
Well, Penn State's made about every mistake you can make here in the first quarter.
Dropped a touchdown pass with nobody around and now misses a safety because of an offsides.
Courtney Brown rushing up the field, just overpowering Jimmy Haley, the tight end. They get to Tim Couch. But somebody was offside, so they lose the 2 points.
This is Couch with the hard count, trying to get somebody to jump offside and then go with the running play with Homer. And he is close, but about a yard short. And that could be the final play of this opening quarter.
But I think also Tim Couch was doing there, Ron, as he's making his count. He saw some line movement by Penn State, anticipated a slant. So he wanted to try to get the ball to his fullback, Derek Homer, away from the slant. Good field presence by the quarterback, Tim Couch.
See the clock running down, 11 seconds, and now 10. Couch with another audible. And Homer bounces it outside. He's going to have the 1st down. And with that, the clock runs out. And that is the end of the opening quarter here in Tampa. The 1999 Outback. It is the Wildcats of Kentucky surprising with a 14-3 lead. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. (14-3), Kentucky leading Penn State as we begin the second quarter. Here are the numbers in that first half. 180 yards for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well for Penn State's defense. Again, I think surprised a little bit by the Kentucky speed.
Defensive leaders for Kentucky: Eric Kelly, 5 tackles, 4 solo. Courtney Brown for Penn State, 3 tackles, all solo. And of course, he had a safety a moment ago that was erased. Run! Right up the middle. There's not much there for White, as Maurice Daniels, a senior out of Alexandria, Virginia, makes the tackle.
Well, you go back to what you said on Joe Paterno's decision to punt the football, and then they almost got a safety. But you really want to you got 2 decisions. 1, do you get in a scoring match? And 2, do you make them go the long field? And that's what he's trying to do with this drive.
Here comes the blitz from the outside. He gets it away. Dougie Allen made the catch, and it was LeVar Arrington who was all over Couch, and he still delivered just a perfect pass.
Well, LeVar Arrington's going to come on a blitz from the outside. Penn State doesn't want to show blitz, but you see LeVar Arrington just times it up perfect. But Tim Couch has the presence in mind to throw the football. There's nobody right here tight enough on man coverage. So the completion's to Dougie Allen.
That hot route. Normally teams that are good passing teams do a nice job with that. First down for the Cats. Quick pass. That was tipped, and Scioli almost, if he puts both hands out there, might have just jogged into the end zone.
What Jerry Sandusky said about Brad Scioli is the biggest difference in our defensive team has been his plays. 18 tackles for losses, almost came up with a big interception.
Couch had 9 in a row completions prior to that. Deep over the middle, and that one's a little too low as he threw into that deep zone coverage. Chris Fowler, let's check with you.
Well, Ron, a rainy, foggy day in Dallas, a Cotton Bowl dominated by defense until this play. play action. Major Applewhite over the top to the brilliant Wayne McGarity. Texas draws first blood, leads the Bulldogs 7-zip. Back to Tampa.
Jackie Sherrill returning to the state of Texas. Of course, he was a head coach at A&M for a time. Going up against his old rival in the Texas Longhorns. Got it complete. White right over the middle. And Anthony scrambles his way to around the 37. It's not enough for the first down.
Ron, they're going to make it tough. Now, Jerry Sandusky, he's watched this whole first quarter, and he's seen receivers wide open. So now he's going to just a basic three-man rush right here. Dropping 8. Trying to make it difficult for Tim Couch to find a hole to throw the football. Hit Anthony White over the middle, short of the first down. Remember the Fiesta Bowl when Jerry Sandusky came up with a defense that won Penn State the national title.
Jimmy Carter, let's see if he speeds up his delivery this time.
Well, he will.
He just kind of lackadaisically went through it last time, got it blocked. They didn't even have the block on. Well, he does take an extra step, though, and this is a horrible kick. Off the side of his foot, he almost missed that thing. Good heavens. 14 yards on the kick.
Well, you can't, you got everything going your way, and you can't allow Penn State back in this ball game by giving them a short field.
Maybe we can put the clock on him next time, because he does take an extra step.
Low snap. And he gets tilted a little bit because he wants to kick it in the corner, and it goes off the side of his foot over to the Kentucky bench.
So Penn State takes it over with very good field position at the 50-yard line. McCoo, the lone setback. It's Tony Stewart in motion to the top of your screen. Flag is down. Might have had 2 folks moving at once on that play.
Snedeker again with another tackle.
Snedeker on the stop for Kentucky. There is a flag on the play.
That's the 8th penalty already in this game.
They're going to pick the flag up, Ron.
And that there was not an illegal shift. So the flag is picked up, and it's second down at about 10.5. Well, Tony Stewart this time, that's a definite there. They're not going to pick this one up.
Going the other way here on one play and a penalty.
And this drives Joe Paterno absolutely nuts. He just really, as most coaches do, but not to beat yourself and play the way Penn State has in this first half. And they have had ample opportunities to make some good things happen.
Ron, their receivers are going to have to make some big plays because it doesn't look like they're crisp running the football.
Fake it to McCoo. Here comes backside pressure. Going to go long and good. Heavens, he's wide open at the 15. Nastasi, touchdown Penn State. Somebody forgot him. 56 yards in the touchdown. Well, you said it. The receivers are going to have to make a big play.
I didn't think they'd be that wide open.
Neither did Hal Mummy.
Joe Nastasi just came across the middle and ran a post route. Missed most of 3 games with a broken wrist. You're going to see him come in motion. The play fake.
Well, nobody picks him up.
Every safety jumped the run. They thought it was going to be a run.
Extra point is good by Forney. And with 12 minutes and 33 seconds left until halftime, it is 14-10 as Penn State jumps right back into this one. We will take a break. 56 yards in the touchdown. It is a perfect day for sailing on beautiful Clearwater Beach, just on the other side of Tampa Bay. Like I mentioned, this time last year we were freezing to death. It was very cold, but temperature today around 70, just perfect.
The decision by Joe Paterno paid off. Punted them into the inside their 10-yard line, forced them to work the long field. They had a bad punt. He gets a touchdown.
This kick is returnable. It's Craig East from the 2. Here he goes again. Forney's the only guy back there. Now he gets some help from behind, and he reverses his field. Yeast all the way to the 31. 67 yards. Pettigrew finally wrapped him up.
Well, Craig Yeast holds a total of 19 school records. You can see why. Breaks it up inside. Good blocking by the special teams of Kentucky. Now a nice job right here. Keeping him, making him go back inside. Till you get some help. Pettigrew finally making the hit.
Well, it is amazing in the bowl games that we've done. Special teams, what a huge part they play.
Well, they have been so far.
Counts, drops it over the middle to White. Ball is loose, but nope, they say he was down. It's Mac Morrison who makes the tackle. And just a couple of words on Morrison. Brandon Short gets a lot of attention. LeVar Arrington gets a lot of attention. But the coaches are quick to say that Mac Morrison is actually the most complete of the linebackers, and they ask him to do a lot. He covers backs. He covers tight ends. He is really an outstanding football player.
Came a long way from Washington. Dad played for the Miami Dolphins. Run a lot more zone by Penn State.
The run with Anthony White, and he's going to take it inside the 25-yard line. Kerpakis defensively as we go under 11.5 minutes left until halftime.
The change in the second quarter is a lot more three-man rush by Penn State. And I don't think they can stay with the receivers of Kentucky, and they've gotten picked. And Jerry Sandusky, it looks like, now is going with more of zone. Drop back in your zone, come up and make the hit. Nothing easy for Kentucky.
I'm sure that Jerry said, hey, let's don't give up any more 67-yard returns either. These guys don't need help. Intercepted if he stayed in bounds. Anthony King, did he get it? Yes. That is a nice job by King. He's only 5'8", but he showed great athleticism.
And again, I credit Jerry Sandusky because the change of philosophy here. Going right back to try to match up a little bit better in zone coverage. Dougie Allen was the receiver. And Anthony King with a big interception because you give great field position to Kentucky, and then you get the turnover. So this is a big play by Anthony King, and put a notice beside that one because Kentucky had a chance to drive a little bit more home to this Penn State defense.
Well, that's true. That's a great point. Now let's see if Penn State goes with the two tights or a little more conservative play. Nope, they come out with one tight end and split out all over the place. Here's the reverse. Fields, lots of space, gets a paving block at the 35, and he is finally going to be tackled by Zerker at the 44-yard line. 29 yards on the reverse.
Shafi Fields, a big senior, 25 catches this year for 1 TD, but he hurts you now with his feet. Penn State running their trick play. Gets a good block out of Eric Cole, the center. You see him 51 right out here leading the play. Makes a nice block, allowing Shafi Fields to get more yardage.
Couldn't help but notice the quickness and the speed of Snedeker as he closed rapidly. Big opening, 5, close to 10 yards by Aaron Harris. Nice hole over there on the left side.
Greg Ransom, now he made a play on the touchdown pass that he saved Kevin Thompson time to get the ball to Joe Nastasi. Now he came right back on this play and makes a nice block. So Greg Ransom is having a big time effect in this offensive line for Penn State.
Yeah, because Dennis Johnson was going to have the quarterback for a loss, and they wind up with a 56-yard touchdown. Stewart again in motion. Blitz up the middle. They pick it up, and the pass complete, and it's Fields, and that'll be a Penn State first down. Now I'm beginning to wonder what Joe Paterno told me yesterday. He said, I've had the raps on the offense all year. We played defense. I'm going to let these kids have some fun tomorrow. And they are throwing the ball a little bit more than they normally do.
And they're throwing the ball with good, safe throws, Ron. Nothing difficult here. And again, Kevin Thompson, who the senior quarterback, he's 6'5". He looks to be off to a good start. Fran Gannon really believes in Kevin Thompson.
Little counter play, and Harris, he gets knocked down quickly and very hard, and it's that man Snedeker again.
Kentucky's defense operates under a philosophy. They want to blitz. They want to crowd the line of scrimmage. They want the ball back for their offense.
John Rader also helped out on that stop. This is a drive, though, as we look up, it's 9:26 now, 9:25 left until halftime. Penn State would like to have about a 6 or 7 minute drive here if possible. Going to go long, and he's got a man there. Just off his fingertips. Joe Nastasi had a step on the defensive back. Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, he was in good shape. Kenneth Grant was very much behind him on the hip. Some people booing about maybe that he interfered with him, but Joe Nastasi comes open. Kevin Thompson just throws the ball a little bit too far for him. Yeah, there's no doubt. Kenneth Grant grabbed him.
He tackled him. He sure did. There's the tackle before the ball got there. I still don't know if he could have caught it, but probably pass interference should have been called. 14-10 if you just joined us. Kentucky on top in what has been a very interesting first half. McCoo comes back into the lineup. Kentucky comes with the blitz. Screen pass, caught it, and John Rader was all over Kevin Thompson.
Sometimes you get predictable in your tapes, and it looked like that Kentucky was reading that play all the way. Everybody. Here comes the blitz up inside. Screen's red. Number 8, Eric McCoo, waiting on it, but right there with him is the Kentucky defender, John Rader.
Second punt is Pat Pigeon, senior out of Mayfield, comes out. See his first punt, 32 yards, and he dropped it at around the 6-yard line. They may have gotten too much mustard on this one. Yep, he did. It's going to hit about 5 yards deep, so it's a 38-yard punt. And Kentucky will take it over out at the 20 after we return from this timeout. 8:57 until halftime. Cats by 4. 8:59 left until halftime. And the Wildcats of Kentucky enjoying a 4-point lead. However, as Mike Gottfried has very accurately pointed out, some changes defensively by Jerry Sandusky, and they have been very good changes for Penn State, and that's going to be a procedure call. Comstock came out of his stance, and it'll cost him 5.
Ron, you talked about at the open that Tim Couch's draft status, and in talking to pro scouts around the country, the Cincinnati Bengals, for some reason, and I obviously know the reason, the talent of Tim Couch, also the proximity to Lexington, Kentucky, are working hard to try to figure out how they can get him.
See the blitz for the outside. Couch is going to be sacked at Scioli. The first man to get there to him, and then Brandon Short closed very rapidly as well.
Well, good mix-up right here, because Brad Scioli comes on an inside move. Brandon Short joins him, number 53. They bring LeVar Arrington from the outside. They don't pick it up, and Tim Couch got turned, so they couldn't get the ball delivered.
It's going to be a loss of 11. They've actually spotted it down at the 3.5. You know the rule, but just to remind you, the thing you have to be careful of, pass blocking, if you're caught holding in the end zone, that's a safety. So another consideration on a deep drop by Kentucky. They go with the running play, though. And Derek Homer maybe has a yard. Scioli again. So both the defensive ends, which we fully expected, Scioli and Courtney Brown, have really made their presence felt here today.
They're an outstanding defense. When you look at them defensively, they lead the Big Ten in sacks with 47. They forced 18 fumbles and 17 interceptions. So they've been a very good defense all year.
And number 11, of course, LeVar Arrington, sophomore out of Pittsburgh. Another one of those outstanding defensive players for Penn State. Third down and a long way. Quick pass. Nope, gonna run it. 10, 15, and Couch, he thought he was gonna get hit, and he didn't, and he has the first down. He was waiting to get bopped.
Boy, that's a big first down.
Oh, my
Ron,
goodness.
because field position. They brought Arrington from the top of the screen.
30 yards, that's a season long for Tim Couch on a scramble.
He just, no one's back there.
Look at
All of
this.
a sudden, he thinks he's going to get hit by flash hour and picks up the first down.
That's amazing. He knew that he was dead in the water right there.
Arrington being picked up, a zone blitz on that play.
You go with the running play. It's Derek Homer. And that's going to be a gain of about 6 yards. Now, a key, and it always is, whether you're a passing team or a running team, but when you get +5 on first down, things are going in your favor as far as your offensive game plan.
Well, it gives you so many opportunities. Go back to the last play. That was a zone blitz when Tim Couch hit that big scramble for the first down. Again, Jerry Sandusky trying to do a lot of things to show Tim Couch.
This average on the first down, Penn State 7.5, the Kentucky 5.3. Penn State shows blitz. Audible is called. Let's see if they stay with it. Yep.
They're offside too.
Pass is incomplete, but you're right. I think they're going to pick up the first down. Brandon Short appeared to get across too quickly.
Yeah, one thing you don't want to do with Tim Couch is tip your hand too soon.
Yeah.
And they showed it too soon. Tim Couch was able to check out. Penn State, again, making mistakes uncharacteristically.
Uncharacteristically.
That's easy for you to say.
Let's do your say, Mike.
It's been a tough night.
Gosh, and as rough as you got was what, skim milk.
It's still, it can be tough on you. But here's the blitz and the offside penalty. Arrington gets his hands up.
So with the penalty, we'll check the numbers. How many penalties is that against Penn State in his first half? 5. And then throw in a dropped pass that would have been a touchdown. It's they've had their share of uh-ohs in this first 30 minutes.
And Kentucky's moving that time. Chris Comstock. So the officials are busy. I hope they got a good rest on last night.
That's the 11th penalty of this first half. And it's not like these guys are looking to throw the flag or having to throw the flag. They're doing a nice job. 6:28 left until halftime. Kentucky 14-10. Now Kentucky goes back on top in penalties. They have 6. Derek Homer. It's going to be a gain of about 3 on the play.
Ron, when you look at a lot of these high school statistics, like Tim Couch's statistics are out of sight when he was in high school. Derek Homer, his high school stats at Fort Knox, Kentucky, he gained 8,224 yards. He scored 110 touchdowns in high school. Fort Knox is a very good, very well coached program.
Short drop, quick look in right over the middle. It's close to a first down. Jimmy Robinson, a junior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, hit by LeVar Arrington.
Too much of a cushion. And again, I think the early success that Kentucky had now concerns Penn State a little bit about the speed. But you can see this reception by Jimmy Robinson. There's just nobody in the area. There's no underneath coverage. Too loose in the secondary.
Third down, and I'm going to say about 1.5 yards to pick this thing up. Couch going to have the first down as he scrambles and then goes down at the 35 by Brandon Short. What you forget sometimes when you just watch, you hear a kid's name, you know of his reputation, but Couch is big at 6'5".
And that's what worried Jerry Sandusky, because he said he can frustrate you. You can get to him and you can't take him down. Courtney Brown, they get blocked up there. They do a nice job on him with Comstock. Tim Couch just steps inside, picks up the first down.
Comstock said to be the steadiest performer on an offensive line. In fact, he's going to the Hula Bowl to play in postseason play. Nice defense by Anthony King, who already has an interception in this ball game.
Yeah, they tried to get the quick pitch outside, and they thought they had Penn State sealed inside. And you're right, Anthony King, who's 5'8", makes a nice play.
I never have remembered Penn State being huge in the secondary, but I don't remember being quite this small. Now, they're very athletic, but on the corners, 5'9" and 5'8", and then Sean Lee, the free safety, is only 5'7".
Small and fast.
Here comes the blitz again. They pick it up, and they throw that middle screen, and Penn State does a good job. Daniels is out there on Gary Davis, one of the first men to make the hit, and also I guess King was there as well.
And Jew also was out there, number 10.
Baljew, sophomore out of Chantilly, Virginia. Clock is now under 4 minutes until halftime.
Probably 2-down territory for Kentucky.
10th play of the drive for the Wildcats. Couch gets that one away a little low, and Couch took a pretty good shot from Courtney Brown. In fact, he is very slow in getting up.
Ron, when you defend Kentucky, Jew, number 10, is going to be picked here, and he's going to say something to the official. But as we watch this play, watch right here, because there's the pick by Kentucky. Now he's going to go right to the official and say, although I don't think it was a pick, but he's trying to remind the officials about the rub-offs of Kentucky.
4th down, and Kentucky, no punt team on the field. They'll go for it. They picked up one already today, and they launch it. Got a man out there, and Yeast must have looked up into the sun because it went right through his hands. We talked about the high sky, and I'm going to give the youngster an excuse because, I mean, it went right through his hands. Timeout on the field. 3:33 until halftime. Kentucky 14-10. Mike, let's talk about going for it on 4th down. Hal Mumme has a reputation of being quite the gambler. I have to wonder if this one may not come back and bite him a little bit.
It's got a shot, but they had a chance for the touchdown pass with Yeast, but you're giving Penn State great field position here.
You know, we asked Brandon Short about being ready to defend Kentucky on 4th down from virtually anywhere on the field, and he said, bring it on.
It's going to be a little bit new to us, like staying in there on 4th down, because usually we get the score team in there, or we go safe, we'll go punt safe. But these guys, they go for it on 4th down, and they go for the jugular. I mean, and I like that too as a defensive player. That's a challenge. It gives us an opportunity to go out there and win a football game. If we can stop them, we can win.
Well, he makes a good point, and right there, Tony Stewart catches the pass. Riley bumps him out of bounds, but all of a sudden, look at Penn State. They have the football at the Kentucky 42-yard line.
Yeah, now you have to make somebody pay. If they're not going to punt the football and they're going to take the chance, which they had Yeast open, though. You got to remember that. But I like Penn State's chances here with the good field position. Now Kentucky has to make a defensive play.
That's Nolan DeVaughn, the center, being retaped on the sideline. Here they come back with a running play. McCoo spins around, loses the football, and I believe Eric Kelly looks as though he's on the football, waiting for a signal.
Kentucky ball.
Kentucky football. Well, he was holding his hand up as if...
Straight up.
Yep. Ronnie Riley is the man who knocks it loose.
Well, Penn State didn't take advantage, Ron.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You know, watching, again, Eric McCoo got the ball, and it got turned all around, and Ronnie Riley with the recovery, and now Kentucky's in pretty good shape. I've been watching Penn State's defensive linemen. They're always going to the umpire telling them about Kentucky holding. Let's see if it has any effect as we go from this point forward.
Okay.
But they constantly go to the umpire and talk and complain about holding.
Couch sets in the pocket. That ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. And Fleischhauer got a hand up, the big senior out of Clemens, North Carolina.
We always told our players, be polite. Say, Mr. Umpire, you know, they are holding me. And we'd like for you to watch it a little closer. Of course, you know, on the field, they'll yell at those umpires. Blind bat, they're holding me.
But you say to him, you say,
yeah,
I'm
Mr.
sure
Umpire.
Sure he's a nice Christian young man,
right,
but he's holding me.
Yeah.
16 of 23, 163 yards for Couch. This running play, this is a good job. Boy, Anthony King for 5'8", 173 really packs a wallop. Let's check in again with Chris Fowler. Chris, what do you got for us?
Ron, a quick update of what we're going to have for you at the halftime from here in Tempe. Highlights of the Cotton Bowl, Ricky Williams' company battling the Mississippi State Bulldogs. John Makovic makes his New Year's Day resolutions for everybody else, coaches and players, plus the Bowl Blitz. Lee and Kirk will join me at the break.
Okay, Chris, we've got 2:46 here in Tampa. 14-10, Kentucky. Right over the middle, Robinson, and finally stopped at the 40, and that's enough for the Kentucky first down. James Boyd, I'm sorry.
No, it's just an underneath route. Jimmy Robinson coming wide open against the drop of the linebackers.
I keep an eye on number 6, James Boyd. He has a reputation. 6 feet 208, sophomore out of Chesapeake. He has a reputation of being the hitter on that defensive side in the secondary. Courtney Brown with pressure. Couch lobs it, and it's intercepted by King, his second of the afternoon. And Anthony King takes it back almost to midfield.
Tim Couch was in the land where you decide whether you want to run it or throw it. Dougie Allen was the receiver. He's trying to get it to, and Anthony King. You talk about a first half. You mentioned it. He's had 2 interceptions, a couple big tackles for the little 5'8", 173-pound corner.
He's, like I said, not big, but you can go to war with a guy like that. By the way, Courtney Brown applying pressure on Couch, running him out of the pocket.
Penn State has 3 timeouts. May take one here.
So we'll take it with them. 2:08 until halftime. Kentucky by 4. Penn State with the football again. We'll be right back. So we're back, a very festive mood here on this January 1, 1999, final year of the millennium. 2:08 left until halftime. Caramelli and Harris, the 2 running backs for Penn State.
Ron Nastasi's been open. They need to try to keep getting him the ball.
Well, he got a man deep, and did he get it to him?
Interference.
Yep, that's Nastasi. Eric Kelly. I'll tell you what, he didn't have to run up. He was on a post, and he was open.
And they were defending the post, and he tried to come back in the corner. But he's been wide open this entire first half, Joe Nastasi.
Good job by Cole, blocking of the play, the center.
Joe Nastasi working on the post. Now tries to come back. There's the collision. Eric Kelly, number 20. Missed most of 3 games. Joe Nastasi with a broken wrist. Fran Ganner says he's a different player. They just took the cast off as they started practicing, and he said you can see him emerge. And Ron, he's been wide open this entire first half.
Well, and actually, Eric Kelly is called by his coaches as the best of the cover corners for Kentucky. Great protection. Zings it, and I'll tell you what, that thing should have been picked off. I still don't know who he was throwing to.
Zerker.
Zerker, the defensive back, was the closest guy to it.
He was trying to get the ball to, I believe, a Stewart, his tight end. Kevin Thompson, sometimes you get in a game where the other quarterback's heralded and everybody's talking about him, and Kevin Thompson, I'm sure, wants to show his mettle today. Fran Ganner, the offensive coordinator, he said, I'll go to war with Kevin Thompson.
You know, both Ganner and Joe Paterno have gone to bat for Thompson and have tried to take up some of the criticism. Got that pass completed to 23 to Tony Stewart. Because, in fact, in the latter part of the season, when reporters would ask about interceptions and things, Paterno started to say, hey, it's not always the quarterback's fault. The receiver didn't run the right route. But they have gone to bat for him, and it's, for good reason, because they like the way the kid has worked.
Yeah, they just believe in him. They believe that he's the quarterback. Rashard Casey's played a little bit, and they say we may see him today.
3 receptions by Stewart now for 48 yards. And here comes Harris. 5, 10, counted off at about 12 yards. You're going to step him out of bounds just short of the 10-yard line, and it's Eric Kelly who makes the tackle. And now Penn State in great shape with 1:23 left until halftime. That would be a huge momentum swing to go in leading at halftime.
Without a doubt, Aaron Harris on the tailback counter. He took over for Eric McCoo. McCoo is a freshman and fumbled the ball. Joe Paterno took him to the sideline, brought Harris in the ball game a little more steady right now, the senior. But we'll see McCoo again in the second half.
2 tight ends in the lineup. Quick count. Thompson sets. Got all the time in the world, and he's going to run it. And picks up a couple. Rader is the man who bumped him out of bounds. Stops the clock with 1:16 showing until halftime.
Boy, Kentucky does a nice job. They jump on the wide receivers of Penn State and did not allow them to run a route. That's why Kevin Thompson had no place to go with the football. You watch right up here. Just a nice job running with the receivers. Kevin Thompson's only decision was to run the football.
Back up some, partner.
Well, you see the numbers: 38 of 40, 39 of 48, 23 touchdowns and 16 field goals inside the 20 this year. On second down, got him open, and oh boy, Ceramelli tried to adjust to where he was going to run before he caught the football and dropped it. Snedeker with pressure.
Well, Mike Ceramelli was open, tried to adjust, like you said. He's a very strong fullback. He's a blocking fullback. He's a state teenage powerlifting champion. They just talk about him. Fran Ganner says as good as any fullback we've had here. Nastasi back in the ball game.
Fran made a good point about him. He said that Ceramelli, game by game, grades out higher than anybody. It happens on a consistent basis. Third down, and the line to make is the 1 of Kentucky. Kentucky shows blitz. Thompson. Ooh, close coverage on Nastasi.
We're going to see a lot of Joe Nastasi in the second half because his routes, I mean, he's the receiver that's getting open for Penn State. He's been open about 3 or 4 times, and this ball is just thrown too far by Kevin Thompson. Good coverage by Kenneth Grant.
And it was Dennis Johnson who was forcing Thompson to go ahead and get rid of the football. So this is going to be Forney, who will attempt a field goal of 26 yards and try to pull his team to within 1 point, and Kentucky's going to try to ice him. They have called timeout with 1:07 showing on the clock. So we'll take it with them. 67 seconds until intermission. 14-10 Kentucky. So we're back with 1:07 left until halftime. Kentucky called the timeout. And Forney is going to be lined up to kick this one from about 26 yards. Kevin Thompson is the holder. We'll keep that in mind. What about the timeout? Are they trying to ice him, or they're trying to conserve some time so they can get football back?
Yeah, they want the ball back. They're thinking offense all the way.
If you kick to Craig Yeast,
you'll be back down inside the 50.
Yeah. 26-yard attempt. Good pass, and he punches it through, and we have a 1-point ball game.
Ron, something I'm going to watch for in the second half is the defense of Kentucky, how they try to defend Joe Nastasi, because he could have had a bonanza here in the first half that they could have just got him the football. He's been open on 4, 5, 6 occasions.
Let's check on the sideline. Adrian Karsten.
Ron, for the 4th year, Outback Steakhouse is involved with this bowl. I'm with Paul Avery, president of Outback Steakhouse. Fantastic day. Great new stadium, great new year.
It's a great day. Wonderful day for a football game. Great weather out here in Tampa. This is our 4th year with the Outback Bowl. We just re-signed for another 3 recently. It's been a great opportunity for us to showcase our terrific town of Tampa and to promote our restaurants, which we have about 500 nationwide.
Paul, putting your name on an event like this, the support from Kentucky and from Pennsylvania, has got to be a great opportunity for exposure.
This has been a wonderful partnership for us. We're real proud to be involved with this. The fans from Kentucky have showed out in tremendous force, and the energy here is just phenomenal. We appreciate all the fans coming out here today and filling the stands. It's the first time the bowl's ever been sold out.
All 38,000 from Kentucky want you to open your restaurants before 4 o'clock, but I know you guys need to play golf, too.
Well, rumor has it that we are supposedly playing golf before we open our restaurants, but we spend that time doing a good job to prepare opening up. And I want to take just a moment to thank all the 40,000 Outbackers around the country who've done a wonderful job providing a great experience for our customers. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do the kind of things we're doing here today with the Outback Bowl.
Paul, thank you very much for taking the time. Ron, before I get to the airport, first stop, the blue and onion with sauce.
We'd have to stop up the press box because we've got a few.
Let's keep an eye on Craig East, and he is not going to send him an airborne addition. Going to kick it on the ground, and this time they corral him just short of the 25-yard line. Later today on ABC Sports, Michigan and Arkansas are getting ready up at the Citrus Bowl. That's followed by the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T. UCLA taking on Wisconsin. The Nokia Sugar Bowl, Ohio State against Texas A&M. And tomorrow night, Florida meets Syracuse in the FedEx Orange Bowl. Then on Monday, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. #1 Tennessee against #2 Florida State. The national championship also will feature the debut of Enhanced TV, the first interactive production of a televised sporting event. Get a sneak preview right now at ESPN.com. Couch is 17 of 25, and he's going to be sacked again. He's got 2 touchdowns, but Morrison and Arrington combine on the tackle.
Well, again, Jerry Sandusky's going after him. He talked about his great awareness, field presence, his mobility. And you get frustrated as a defense when you get to him and you can't knock him down, but they do knock him down right here. Arrington again, Morrison, Brandon Short, but LeVar Arrington was there first.
Here they come with pressure again. Couch steps up and delivers it. Has it complete at the 31-yard line, and he'll pick up the first down as Craig Yeast spins his way forward. The clock is stopped momentarily with 20 seconds until halftime.
Well, there's no question about Tim Couch's arm strength because he zipped that curl in and threw a lot on it. Craig Yeast, a big play receiver, has 14 touchdowns.
Clock is whistled back in. 15 seconds down to 14. Couch, safety valve. Homer, and he will get out of bounds. It'll stop it with 9 seconds. And if you wonder about Seth Hansen, their field goal kicker, his career long is 42 yards, and they're going to have to do some motoring to get him into that position. Probably the last play of the half coming up. There's Seth. Well, there's Aaron Daniel, just came back in at center.
Right.
Didn't know if
Devon's done a nice job.
Yeah, he has. Aaron is a sophomore out of Valparaiso, Florida.
He played center in the Tennessee game. Jerry Sandusky yelling to his linebackers, keep everything in front of you.
Now the play clock is whistled back in. 8 seconds on the game clock. If they got a man uncovered, that's what Sandusky was pointing at, and that's the direction they went. It looked as though Anthony King had lined up on the wrong side.
Yeah, he was yelling out to the defense. He wanted to make sure Anthony King got over there exactly where Tim Couch threw the football. LeVar Arrington again, Ron, he's been a headache for Tim Couch.
Still, there's 4 seconds left, and look at this secondary. They have backed off. It looks like a punt.
Guard the goal line
yeah,
here.
they have dropped off all the way down at the 5-yard line. There's another player at the 15-yard line. Gets it open at the 40, 30-yard line, and then bumped out of bounds is Gary Davis, and that is the end of the first half. So as they head to the locker room, our score here in Tampa at the 1999 Outback Bowl is Kentucky 14 and Penn State 13. Now with the new Dodge halftime report, let's head back to Tempe, Arizona, and rejoin Chris Fowler. Chris? Number 1, Bruce Branch, a sophomore out of Richmond, Virginia, and to his right is Eddie Drummond, also a freshman. Joe Paterno paces on the sideline. He had a lot of reason to pace in the first half because his team made an uncharacteristic, that's killing both of us today, an uncharacteristic number of errors for a Penn State football team. Here's the kick, and it looks as though it's going to come down to Drummond at the 14. Boy, did he get whacked hard at the 27-yard line. Gayton, one of the first men there, and also Lee Wesley. Now look at this. They have outscored in their last 7 bowl games in the second half, 134-47. That is some pretty good adjustments right there.
Yeah, and wearing down the opponent, too. When you're big and strong like Penn State, we'll see if that has any effect on Kentucky in this second half. But Kentucky, a different ball club than they faced before in bowl games.
2 tight end set. Play action, and he's going to go long, and there he is, and can't hold on there. Joe Nastasi. Somebody heard you, Michael.
Ron, I just keep throwing to him now. They just haven't been able to connect, but he's wide open. That's a mismatch. And you look in the first half of Joe Nastasi, Kevin Thompson, the quarterback, trying to get him the ball. Again, he's wide open. He's behind the defender there. He comes off against Eric Kelly, makes a catch on the sideline. And then the touchdown pass, he was wide open again. So Joe Nastasi, I just keep throwing him the football.
McCoo, big opening, and he is loose. That's going to be a gain of very close to 20 yards from scrimmage. David Johnson made a touchdown-saving tackle, and you could hear the ooh from the crowd. The partisans from Kentucky across the way.
Ron, Eric McCoo, remember, he fumbled in the first half, and Joe Paterno took him over the sideline, and then he brought a replacement in, Aaron Harris, but he's come right out in the second half, got a chance to talk to him, settle him down a little bit. A big gain for Eric McCoo, the freshman.
Did you see Saramelli?
Oh, he's a great blocker.
Yep. 7 carries, 43 yards from McCoo. They fake it to him, pass over the middle, got it complete to the tight end, Tony Stewart. And Tony is tackled after a gain of 7. Jeff Snedeker is riding him out of bounds. Take a look at the defensive numbers. Boy, Thompson is hurt. Thompson, I thought at first was just going to go down on one knee.
Player shaken up on the play.
And he has done more than that. Rashard Casey, the junior out of Hoboken, New Jersey, is next on the depth chart. And in fact, Fran Ganter told us that we might see him in the ball game.
And he said the concern, if I was Kentucky, would be the running ability of Casey. Marvin Major, I think, number 98.
Kevin Thompson shaken up on the play.
Got good pressure on Kevin Thompson.
9 of 19, 146 yards.
Looks like he's holding his wrist.
Sure does. His left wrist is the one that his hand he's holding.
This could be a big loss for Penn State because he's playing very well.
But again, it goes back to that thing that you talk about so much during the regular season. The man who gets the snaps is the one that you've got him there for a reason. The other guy gets not even half as good. They're going to have the first down here, and I think you can look for a lot of that and extremely safe passes when they do throw.
Well, again, let's take another look at the hit on Kevin Thompson. Looks like his wrist. He got the ball to Tony Stewart. They put a helmet on his wrist.
So first down, Penn State. They trail by 1 and trying to get back in it. Here's McCoo again. Has 5, 7, 8. Counted off at about 8 yards. Zerker from the secondary. And right now, can tell you, Saramelli with a lead block on that one. But the blocking from the offensive line looks far more crisp.
And Ron, you're right. And Concho Brown, the tight end, 82. Concho was blocking down here. And he gets a nice down block, which that opened up the big hole.
That offensive line averages 6'5", 310 pounds a man. In fact, Ransom's the smallest one at 6'2", 291. Here comes the blitz. McCoo falls down. He could see the pressure coming and tried to slow down. His feet just went right out from under it. Now that's big. It becomes all of a sudden a 3rd down at about 5 yards.
Yeah, now you've got to throw the football with Casey, or at least appears that you have to throw the football.
And Kevin Thompson appears to be okay as he is up and putting his headgear on. The reason for the cheers from the partisans from Penn State. He'll take a few snaps on the sideline, but they got to pick up this first down at first. Roll the pocket. And he's got Nastasi open and couldn't get the pass away. And Nastasi down at the 5-yard line is just holding his hands up saying, I had beaten my man again. Check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Not a serious injury to Kevin Thompson. Ron, a sprained left wrist. He just told his center, keep the ball up high. Snap it into my right hand. He's going to move his left hand out of the way when he takes the snap. Told his coaches, I can play this way. So not a serious injury at all.
Well, of course, there's a little danger there in the fact of an exchange and blowing that. But it's going to be a time before he gets back in because they don't pick up the first down.
If Penn State loses this game, they're going to go back and look at this tape and say, you talk about missed opportunities.
Yes.
We've had a ton of them, and Joe Nastasi's been on the other end of most of them.
Pat Pigeon, Yeast is back deep, but I doubt he's going to get a chance to see this one. Very high. Tell you what, that takes a Penn State bounce, and they're going to say out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. 21 yards in the kick, but serves its purpose very well. ESPN National Hockey Night this Sunday from Chicago. It's the Detroit Red Wings with Yzerman, Shanahan, and Federer. And they face off against Tony Almonte and the Chicago Blackhawks. Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on ESPN, your worldwide leader in sports. Count, short drop, swings it out to Anthony White, and Anthony is going to be tackled after a gain of only a couple. Anthony King is there. Tell you, the numbers on King in the first half were just simply sensational. Not only 2 interceptions, but the young man had 6 tackles. All of those were solo.
And had 2 big interceptions to stop Kentucky scoring opportunities.
Here are the defensive leaders. Kelly and Snedeker with 6 tackles apiece, 4 solo for Snedeker, and King and Arrington the leaders for Penn State defensively in the first half. Ouch, that's Courtney Brown. Well, they came into this one with 11.5 sacks on the season. Scioli was also there. I don't know if he'll get a share or get the sack by himself. But Tim Couch is now looking at a long situation to pick up the first down. 3rd.
Yeah, he'll try to figure out where Courtney Brown is because they got 3 players blocking him.
That's
but
a
they
bull
leave
rush.
him go. Yeah, they leave him go. Josh Parrish left him go a little bit too soon.
3rd down, and they need to take it out to the 25 to keep this one going. Couch threw it behind Anthony White, and Scioli got a hand on it, which meant the closest guy to it was Derek Fox.
And now, Ron, the problem that Kentucky had the first half was punting the football.
Oh, I'd go after this fella.
Without a doubt. And you're going to should end up with great field position here.
Sturdivant got one back in the first half. Jimmy Carter takes the extra step, takes a little bit longer.
And Kentucky or Penn State's figuring he's going to kick it to the left side, so they're putting
yeah, they've shaded the return man over to that side, Bruce Branch. And they almost got this one. From the 47-yard line, there's a flag down. And he will make the return back inside the 35-yard line. That's Bruce Branch.
The flag is at the line of scrimmage, so it's either offsides on Penn State or illegal procedure, one of the 2.
Macklin got turned around. He almost had the block.
Now, that may be a hold, Ron.
If it is a hold, that's reading you here in the Penn State sideline holler safety. Oh, he
No,
did. He
there's
grabbed
no
it.
doubt. And James Whalen, number 85, this should be a safety.
Well, but he was outside the end zone when he held it, wasn't he?
Right.
He was outside. But take a look at it again. Lower part of the screen.
Right here's the hold. Right here.
Holding by the kicking team. Penalty is refused. First down.
You know, I'm a little surprised in some of the crowd because Carter has had so many problems kicking today. I think I'd make him kick it again.
The only problem is they got great field position. Joe Paterno wants that ball.
Well, it's a great look of downtown Tampa. You can see a few clouds are moving in. And Blimp has got a gorgeous day to be up there tracking around in this area. And we've got a really good football game going right here. 14-13 Kentucky.
Interesting decision by Joe Paterno on this punt.
I agree with you.
But maybe James Whalen may have got the best hold he's ever had, and I'll show you why.
Aaron Harris is the lone setback. Thompson back in the ball game. Zings the pass complete, and that's the tight end Tony Stewart again. It's David Johnson wrestling with him, trying to take the football away.
Pass complete to number 89.
Going back to the punt, Ron, James Whalen right here is gonna hold Macklin. Now, if he doesn't hold Macklin, he blocks this kick. This hold, he would have had that punt. So the next time Kentucky punts that football, you know that Macklin's going to be on a mission to block that kick and should have a great shot unless they adjust their blocking scheme.
Counter tray, and he's loose. Harris, 15-10, and they will spot him out of bounds. They say he stepped out just before he got to the 10-yard line, and I cannot help but think 19 yards on the running play. The blocking with the offensive line, their running game looks so crisp compared to the first half.
Cuncho Brown again, the tight end. Gets a nice block on the backer and leads him.
Ranson also.
And Aaron Harris into the secondary.
10-yard line of Kentucky.
Harris back into the boundary. And he is going to be pushed out of bounds by Eric Kelly. Ransom out front blocking, but Eric pushed him out of bounds just short of the 5-yard line.
They found something on the tight end side in the short side of the field. And I think they're getting good block downs by their tight end, Cuncho Brown, and they're getting good pull out of Greg Ransom, the guard. And they're getting body on body and then letting Aaron Harris try to find his seam.
That's one of the things that Mike Major talked about that they hope that they could stay away from is just what you just mentioned, and that is a body on body and start playing crunch football. Counter play, Harris breaks a tackle. He is at the 3 and goes forward. He lost the ball as he hit the turf, and the official, is right there to say it's down at the 1.5-yard line. As David Johnson tackled him.
David Johnson came out of his secondary position to make that tackle. True freshman out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. As Aaron Harris now steady back on. You see the seniors come in. He steadied this offense in the running game.
3rd down.
I'd say they'll go behind Cuncho Brown.
That's Watkins in motion, and he fell down. I don't know what Harris tripped over, but he lost a couple of yards on the play. That's the easiest defensive stand on 3rd down that Kentucky will have to make this year.
I think Kevin Thompson may have tripped him. He may have had his foot out, and they tried to go behind the tight end again. This is, again, been a lot of mistakes by this Penn State football team. No, he just slipped.
Tripped on his own. So Forney to attempt the field goal, trying to put his team up by a couple. 21-yard attempt. Thompson the holder. Good pass. Kick is up, and he got it. Not by much, but it counts 3. 7:51 left in the 3rd quarter as we take a timeout. And our new score, the Nittany Lions 16 and Kentucky 14. 16-14. Now Penn State is on top. 7:51 to play. Mike, the most obvious question in the stadium. Would you kick to this guy?
No, without a doubt. I'd have talked about this at halftime. 3 kicks, 111 yards. He'd be the last guy to touch a kickoff.
And you can see his longest one, 67 yards. Penn State knew coming in that he was outstanding, but I think they have found out he's even better than what his numbers are.
Outstanding plus.
Yeah, but they kick it on the ground, and it's going to go out of bounds, so they will take it at the 35, and that is a darn sight better than where it could have been.
Hey, you can only hurt me so many times with a kickoff return. But I think I'd have done it.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. Kickoff out of bounds. The receiving team elects to take the ball 30 yards beyond the spot of the kick. First down.
Adrian, stand by. Adrian Carson, going to go down to you and get that report in just a second. But Kentucky is quickly out of the huddle and over the football. So we'll get this play in first. Low pass, and on the play action, Scioli after him, and he is going to have to go down with a sack. And here comes a flag because of a late hit. Penn State came up with a huge defensive play, and then they roughed the passer. Two officials grabbed for their hanky on that one.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense, automatic first down.
Good pressure. First of all, the snap was bad. Now you get the hit. And it's Arrington, number 11, LeVar Arrington, trying to. He hadn't been able to get to Tim Couch much. And
put the top of the headgear on him, and it cost him. You talk about cost you dearly. Rather than having
long yardage,
second and long yardage, now they got a 1st and 10 at the 41.
Again, a lot of mistakes by Penn State.
There's a running play with Derek Homer. And now Adrian Carson, let's check in with you. What do you have for us?
Ron, I began the game talking about LeVar Arrington and his linebacker crew. They were still the hot topic in the Penn State locker room in halftime. Where do they play? Asked Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator. Do we play up close and avoid the run and the short pass, or do we play back and let them throw over the top of us? Honestly, the blitz package they came in here with, which was a bit of a new scheme for them, they don't know is working whether or not right now, and they just honestly don't know where to play. Kind of on-the-job training, Ron, I guess is the best way to put it right now.
Okay. One way to put it. Under 7 minutes to play, third quarter. High pass from center, and Anthony White breaking into the secondary inside the 40. Boju finally made the tackle, and they're going to spot him down at the 38.5-yard line. 20 yards in the carry.
Well, Anthony White came into this ball game averaging 4.4 yards a carry, but again, when Penn State goes to a 3-man rush, you can see there's nobody here defensively that Tim Couch is just going to give the football to Homer and White.
Homer with a good lead block, you could see on the replay.
Good quarterbacks, you can't, you got to disguise a little bit better.
White, 5 carries, 44 yards. Anthony White, and he'll take it for about 3 yards. Interesting yesterday in the press conference with Hal Mumme, and they brought up basketball, and he said, hey, you know, Tubby comes to our practices all the time. In fact, you know, he said he was in high school an offensive coordinator. Said he's still trying to get me to put the veer in, but we're not going to the veer. But he talked about at Kentucky, and it's true at a lot of schools, but he said they are very, very close, and they back each other. Their players go to practice and go to games to show some unity and support. Yeah. Couch, good protection. Now it breaks down. He's going to run it. At the 25, he took a couple of shots, but there you go. 6'5", 225 pounds. And folks, you better bring your lunch pail when you go after him now. You got some work to do.
Ron, he's showing you why everybody thinks he's the best quarterback in the country. He's so smart. He doesn't make many mistakes. He threw 2 interceptions in the first half, but he just finds a place to run.
Morrison really went after him. Morrison is the one who really got the big shot on him. But it's first down, Kentucky. 8 rushes for 21 yards for him, and that pass right over the middle, that's not going to go for much. As Mickelson made the catch, he just crossed him, slid him across the middle. Brandon Short stays right at home to make the tackle.
But I've been impressed with Tim Couch. We haven't had a game of theirs, but you just watch the poise that Tim Couch has, and can see why he's so
you don't rattle
well
him, do
thought
you?
of. No, and he makes good decisions at the line of scrimmage. He gets his team in and out of plays, runs the football when you try to 3-man rush him, can throw the deep ball. He's accurate.
Blitz coming up the middle, going for the end zone. Nope, just short of the end zone, and there is what I thought was incidental contact, and they are going to call pass interference on Macklin.
Jerry Sandusky's all the way down on about the 5-yard line, 10-yard line. I mean, he is, and Paterno's down there too, saying it's a non-catchable football.
Now the discussion goes on, and that may be just what the officials come up with.
Well, you talk about leaving the coaching box, they're all the way down.
Well, Jerry lets you know exactly how he felt. I mean, you see where Joe is, and Coach Sandusky was way beyond him. Mike's right, he was between the 10 and the 15-yard line.
Well, he kept running, but the cord yanked him back, so it kept him back a little bit.
Here comes the decision.
The call was pass interference on the defense. The pass is too high. It's uncatchable. Disregard the flag.
Now here come the boos from the Mummy side of the field.
Well, he's on the field now. Hal Mummy's on the field. He wants to talk to the official. Tim Couch trying to hit the corner route. David Macklin, who's an outstanding corner.
Well,
Tim Couch takes a hit too. A late shot there.
So it's third down. The line to make is the 10-yard line. That's Nolan Devon, the redshirt freshman, out over the football, and the movement by Comstock. And you know, Comstock, that's 3 times, I believe, and he is one of their headier players. I mean, they talk about him as consistent.
False start, offense.
He's going to play in the Hula Bowl round. He's 6'7", 304 pounds. You had some of those Penn State guys across the line from you. You'd try to get a quick start, too.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I'm certainly not pointing the finger at him. 8th play of the drive for the Kentucky Wildcats.
He's got Scioli with a real wide rush, number 5.
Gets it off to Yeast, and he breaks the tackle. Yeast is close, but he is not going to have the first down. Now, let's see if Coach Mummy brings the field goal unit on, or if they go for it on 4th down.
They're going to go for it, Ron. And Craig Yeast just makes you miss. Penn State was in great defense. Jerry Sandusky, exactly what he wanted. They just didn't make the tackle.
So it's 4th down, and as we mentioned, they need the 10-yard line. And Penn State is calling a timeout to make sure they get into just what they want. So the Nittany Lions stop the clock with 4 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. We'll take the break with them. Right back.
Did you know the Autobahn has a special lane just for Infiniti G20s? And the G20 interior features an amazing sound system and a heated lap pool.
When Infiniti owners exaggerate about their cars, it's only out of love. And right now, great deals at our half-yearly sales event have made them even easier to fall for. Hurry, event ends January 4th. Infiniti, own one and you'll understand.
It will speak to you. It will whisper. It will serenade you. It will murmur sweet nothings. When Lake Tahoe calls, call back. 28 world-class ski resorts, sledding, snowmobiling, sleigh rides, log cabins to 5-star resorts, and casino nightlife that rivals Las Vegas. All just a quick, scenic drive away. Need another reason to visit?
CAA basketball ESPN. Oh, man, turn that happy action fun time man off. We need to get some sleep.
Hey, dudes, want to go out and hit the town? I know all the hot spots.
No way, man. We have a game tomorrow. Get lost.
Coach K?
Just keeping you guys honest. NCAA basketball on ESPN. A happy action fun time.
Well, an interesting turn of events while we were gone. Penn State called the timeout to make sure they had the right people in the right spaces on the field. In the meantime, Kentucky has sent the offense to the sideline, and the kicker is on the field.
Yeah, and I think this is the right move for Kentucky. You take the lead with the field goal. Penn State's not going to put their field goal rush team on the field. They're going to keep their defense on. Officials are over on the Kentucky sideline.
I think they're still talking about that play just a while ago. But I'm not so sure that the conference was necessarily about pass interference. They may have been a little upset about that very late hit on Couch, which you pointed out, Mike.
Possibility, because they were not happy.
Okay, so time is back in. It's going to be a 30-yard field goal attempt. Seth Hansen, Matt Mummy is the holder. 29 yards, you're saying officially. Ball is down and it's blocked.
I think Arrington got up there.
I think LeVar Arrington came up, and here is the plot thickens. That was not even the special teams on there. That was the base defense, and they got the block.
Well, that's why the next time down there they will go for it then, because it's not a high trajectory. LeVar Arrington gets his hands up. I think he got it.
Yep. He just bowled his way right there. Goes up, and I mean, he was on the way down and hit it and blocked it. So for the bowl games that we have done, the special teams, the kicking game, punting and place kicking has really played a big part in every one of them. Here comes the running play and a big opening. McCoo, 35-40. And finally pushed out of bounds up at the 50-yard line by David Johnson.
Ron, into the short side of the field, Penn State has owned Kentucky, and it's because of number 82, Cuncho Brown, the tight end, 6'4", 268. Mike Caramelli will lead it, but you can see the block of number 82, and he just opens it up, and they get the corner too easy for Eric McCoo.
Boy, Caramelli just cut his man down. That was Snedeker that he got. And then, as Mike said, Cuncho Brown with the other key block and a 30-yard run by McCoo. This time back to the open side of the field. And what looked as though was going to be a bust, he winds up with plus 4 yards. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us, big guy?
When you're bigger, stronger, not necessarily faster, with about 3.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter, this is when size begins to make a difference. And I've been watching very closely the point of attack up front, defensive line, offensive line for Penn State. Just that, bigger, stronger than Kentucky. It's beginning to make a difference now. We saw it down here in the end zone, I think, when LeVar got up there and blocked the kick in that last run around left end.
Well, as I mentioned, Adrian, 310 is what they average across the front, and Kentucky's front four averages 275. So they're giving up about 35 pounds a man. Play action. Got Nastasi, but he throws it underneath and has the tight end, and that's Tony Stewart.
Well, Nastasi's talking to Kenneth Grant. He just continually talks to him and tells him, I've been behind you all day, and eventually I'm going to catch you one here for you. But good fake by Kevin Thompson. Everybody thought it was going to be a run. Gets the ball out to Tony Stewart, the tight end. And Penn State now with good mix in their attack.
McCoo cuts it back inside, and maybe a couple. That's it. John Rader, the sophomore out of Jackson, Kentucky, 6'5", 233, makes the tackle, the middle linebacker. Clock about to go under 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Sellout, as you heard the mention back in the first half. It also in the interview at halftime. First time that the Outback has been sold out. I'll tell you, Kentucky brought a lot of people down here. Blitz coming up the middle. He's got him wide open, and Caramelli dropped the ball. This is twice in the game that Penn State has had people on blown defensive assignments wide open, and they dropped the football.
Yeah, Frank Ganner's got to be pulling his hair out on the sideline because he gets special plays in this. This is a pass play into the tight end side. Tight end number 82. Brown's working down the field. Caramelli wide open, just trying to run with it before he caught it.
And Mike was more than a little upset with himself. Junior out of Allentown. Third down, line to make is the 27 of Kentucky. Wildcats show blitz here. They come off the corner. And he's got him wide open. It's McCoo out of the backfield. Still working in the open field, and it'll be 1st and 10. Penn State inside the 15. And now a late marker comes in. After he was knocked out of bounds is when the flag was thrown.
Ball, personal foul on the defense, half the distance, first down.
Penn State doing a nice job of getting the ball to their backs out of the backfield. Caramelli dropped one on the play before. What do? You come right back to Eric McCoo catches the football. I didn't see it.
So the penalty moves it to the 7.5-yard line. Nastasi in motion. They give it to McCoo. Tries to bounce it to the outside. Ronnie Riley, a freshman right out of high school, San Antonio, Texas, 6'2", 206, makes the tackle. That's a nice defensive play by the Wildcats.
And Kentucky defensively has done a nice job when Penn State's had the ball inside the 10-yard line. McCoo with 84 yards. They've been able to shut Penn State's offense down in this area of the field.
And quite frankly, this is where you think they would take over because of that advantage in size.
They could run right behind Cuncho Brown or throw the ball to the tight ends.
I set 2 tight ends. This is the 8th play of the Penn State drive. Gonna have to hurry, and it is knocked away. Nice play by Jeff Snedeker.
Good pressure by Mark Jacobs on Kevin Thompson, the quarterback. Little cheap fake, trying to get the ball on the crossing route to Tony Stewart, but good coverage by Jeff Snedeker. Well, Ron, you know who I'd throw to. Nastasi.
Well, and he is going out to the right side. He's out there with Shawnee Fields, number 2. They will be at the top of your screen. Kentucky makes the necessary adjustments. Maybe that's who they're looking for. Nope. Swings it out to McCoo, breaks a tackle, and he's going to be stopped at the 9-yard line. Maybe the 8. Gordon Crow finally finished him off. Snedeker was the first man to hit him.
Well, this is where the Penn State offense has just bogged down this entire ball game. Their red zone offense has been not very red.
We talked again at halftime about the missed opportunities by Penn State in this game, and you know Joe is going to come back and say, hey guys, we got a half the distance to the goal penalty and can't move it more than a couple of yards.
We can run the ball outside to the 50, the 40s, but when we get inside the 10, we can't run it.
25-yard attempt. Ball is down, and the kick is perfect. So with 13 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, our new score is 19-14 Penn State. Adrian Karsten, let's check with you again.
Ron, usually the air raid offense of the Wildcats gets the headlines, but how about the black flag defense? The word is denial. These guys get up here, and, you know, I talked earlier about being black and blue, and that was some of the words of Penn State. I'll tell you what, very honestly, the defense for the Wildcats right now is making the difference. They hear the word denial on the sidelines. They get up there, and they're making a bigger difference right now, I think, than the offensive line of Penn State. Twice now inside the 10-yard line. They've been stronger. even though they're smaller than Penn State is.
The Bowl Championship Series starts later today over on ABC. First up, the Rose Bowl, presented by AT&T, UCLA, and Wisconsin. Then the Nokia Sugar Bowl, Ohio State against Texas A&M. And tomorrow night, Florida takes on Syracuse in the FedEx Orange Bowl. Then on Monday, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, #1 Tennessee, #2 Florida State for the national championship. And as you watch the game, ABC Sports and ESPN.com bring you the first ever computer interactive production of a sporting event. It's called Enhanced TV. Get a sneak preview right now at ESPN.com. Craig East. They kicked it out of bounds last time.
I'd do the same thing. I wouldn't kick it out of bounds, but I wouldn't get it to him.
Yeah, they squib it. And it's East from the 12. Well, slipping and sliding, and they get him down at the 25. And it's John Sandusky. 2 seconds left in the third quarter. 19-14 our new score.
Ron, you look at Tim Couch and his passes, mostly everything is underneath 15 yards. And when you look at his distribution, the backs catch a lot of footballs, 8 in this ball game. So a short, intermediate passing game with the ability to go deep.
Bell, who was coming off at the last minute. The running play to Anthony White. He will go out of bounds, but the clock had run out. Anthony King shoved him out of bounds. That is the end of 3 quarters of play. Penn State 19, Kentucky 14. We'll be back with the final quarter right after this. 19-14 our scores. We head to the final 15 minutes, and let's look at the stats through 3 quarters, Mike.
Well, Ron, you remember at halftime, Kentucky was out rushing Penn State. Well, they've taken the game over running the football, even though once they get inside the 15-yard line, they don't seem to be able to move Kentucky.
2 turnovers for the Wildcats, both of them interceptions, and 1 turnover against Penn State. That's Yeast in motion, and they give the ball to him. And they set up an option play off of it. And good heavens, Brandon Short almost took his head off. They set that up nicely. That could have been an option with him pitching.
Craig Yeast was a high school quarterback, and he threw 8 touchdown passes his senior year at Harrodsburg High School in Kentucky. So he has the ability to throw the football. Looks like he had the ability to run an option play, too.
That's what I was talking about. They set that up with the man in motion, and they had him in position to toss it anyway. Third down and short, and I'll tell you what, I'm not sure he got it. No. Derek Homer makes the tackle, or he's the ball carrier, and Scioli is just all over him.
Yeah, Brad Scioli's had an excellent second half. Played defensive tackle in 95 and had a serious knee injury in 96. Ron made that play. Played tight end in 97, and then he returned to defense in 98.
Oh, here they go for it again. Hal Mumme says you got 4 downs, you use them all. 1 of 2 today. Running play, no. He didn't make it. LeVar Arrington is the man who led the attack. He didn't come close.
No. And they had no movement at all on the defensive line. And you take that gamble, you give the ball to Penn State, great field position.
Arrington, we have him with 7 tackles on the afternoon.
Tried to get Derek Homer and slip him inside, Ron, and I know Hal Mumme's probably figuring the momentum has slipped behind us a little bit.
Josh Parrish, the young offensive lineman we were talking about, got pushed back and ran into his running back.
Yeah, he's playing because of the injury to Streck.
Well, Penn State had an opportunity to burn Kentucky after they went for a 4th down earlier in the game, and it didn't pay off. Let's see if it does here. They put it up, and it's off the outstretched hands of Tony Stewart.
You know, Ron, I go back again. I think trying to think of why Hal Mumme tried it on that play. He feels like his defense is playing well inside the red zone, so took the chance to try to get the 1st down. knowing that if you don't make it, Penn State's in great shape, but he has confidence in his defense.
Corey Jones at the bottom of your screen now disappears. 2 wide receivers to the top part. Stewart in motion and a running play, and Harris is only going to take it for a couple, and again Penn State's going to wind up with a 3rd down in about 8 situation.
Mike Major, the defensive coordinator, doing an excellent job today of trying to contain Penn State. Ron, the big guy in the defensive line for Kentucky is Dennis Johnson. He played in the 2nd grade on the high school team. Couldn't go to the dance, but he played 2nd and 3rd grade. How old could you be? I mean, he lettered as in high school as an 8th grader.
Pass over the middle, got it complete, and it is short of the 1st down by about a yard. Tony Stewart makes the catch. This is interesting. Tony's been catching the ball all over the place, and he dropped one wide open in the 1st half that could have been a touchdown.
Now this is a decision for Penn State. Now do you kick the field goal and go up
if they kick
by
the field
8,
goal,
or do you go for this 1st down? If they're going to go for it, they got to get Caramelli on the field. Here he comes, so they're going to go for it. They figure if you can go for it, we can too.
Stewart, 7 catches, 71 yards. That's a career high. And all of a sudden, Shafi Field says, let's call a timeout. Let's stop the clock, talk it over. With 12:10 left in this ball game. So we'll take a break. 19-14. Penn State leads. The Tommy Hilfiger airship flying overhead with our aerial coverage today. Piloting the blimp, Captains Bart Van Beest and Russell Mills. Nice job, gentlemen. Not only doing a good job and some great pictures for us, but I'm sure that's a very comfortable job today. A few clouds now moving into the area, but it has just been great. 4th down. Penn State needs 1. And they go with Caramelli, and he breaks it. Inside the 20 to the 19. 1st and 10, Penn State. Something that you mentioned a moment ago. I read my notes, but I didn't see that Dennis Johnson played in the 2nd grade in a high school game.
He played on the high school team in the 2nd grade and then the 3rd grade, and I'll finish it after this play.
Okay, please do. Tight end comes back inside. McCoo breaks 1 tackle, breaks another, and it's a nice job as Ronnie Riley was outside to help force him out of bounds after a gain of 1.
And you know, how old could you be? 8 years old or 9 years old? He played in the 2nd grade and 3rd grade. Couldn't go to the dances, but the homecoming dance or anything like that, but he could play on the varsity team. His dad was a coach. That was a reason. And then, Ron, Kentucky put a rule in that you couldn't play in the elementary school and the high school team anymore, so he waited till the 8th grade. He became the first 8th grader to make first team All-State. He was 6 varsity seasons. He had 76 sacks. You think the opponents were glad to see him go?
I knew the last part, but I didn't know the first part. It's incredible. Now here comes the reverse, and this is Shafi Fields. Waits for a block, cuts it inside. He will score. So the decision to go for 4th down does jump up and bite Hal Mummy. And Penn State jumps out to a 25-14 lead.
Shafi Fields gets nice blocking on the end around. Gabe Tincher, a nice block, and then just breaks it in the end zone.
Travis Forney to attempt the extra point. He's got it. So with 11:03 left in the ball game, our new score, the Penn State Nittany Lions 26 and the Wildcats of Kentucky 14. Take a break. .12 Penn State lead with 11:03 to play in the ball game. And one more quick look at the touchdown.
Shafi Fields, number 2. There's the fake by Kevin Thompson. Give gets a nice block. and then just bursts into the end zone.
Mike, also you could see it was a nice influence, a fake block by Cuncho Brown as they sent him back inside, and it brought the play the other direction. Yeast is not going to be able to handle that one. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, remember the conversation you and I had with Joe Pa yesterday when he admitted, as we got a little bit of a fracas here on the field now, when he admitted that maybe they lost more Big Ten games this year than they should have because he played it too close to the vest. He was too, quote, vanilla, to use his words. The 45, 50-yard pickup on the reverse in the first quarter. The touchdown on the end around. He is known for two things, Ron. The way he prepares his team and the way he shocks the opponent by pulling some things out of his sleeve in bowl games.
Well, you remember what he told me as we left the room yesterday, Adrian? He said, I've had my offense under wraps all year. This is a bowl game. I'm going to let these kids have some fun. I may kind of let them go today. And they have thrown the ball a lot more, run the reverses. You're right. Couch, heavy pressure. Ball is tipped and incomplete. McCord off his fingertips.
And Ron, go back to what Adrian was talking about in the discussion you were having. Give Fran Ganner, a longtime assistant coach, credit. He's calling the plays down there. And I keep thinking as you watch this pass, Quentin McCord, ball going through his hands. 66 of the top 72 for Penn State will be back next year.
That's
you don't think they're going to be a threat in the Big Ten?
Yeah, just everybody remember that. Deep over the middle. Got Yeast open, and he is juggling the football. Sean Lee made the hit on him, but Craig Yeast did not come clean with the football. If he had, he could have held on and had the first down. Great pressure again from Scioli.
Yeah, Scioli's really turned it up in the second half. They've tried to double team Courtney Brown a little bit more. Scioli's benefiting from that. Craig Yeast over the middle, a high pass, but he just couldn't bring it in. Sean Lee on the coverage.
3rd down and 10.
This is a big play for Kentucky because you don't want to give the ball right back to Penn State.
Here comes pressure. Dumps it out of the backfield. He's got Homer and breaks a tackle, and let's see. Nope, they're going to say that he is short of the first down by 1.5 yards. LeVar Arrington made the stop on him.
They're going to go for it, Ron, again. But you can bet they'll throw it here. They tried to run it the last time.
Fourth down, and they need to take it to the 30-yard line to keep this drive going. Hands it off, and there's the first down. Anthony White. Tackle made by Brandon Short.
And they went to a set that would make Penn State think that they were going to throw it, and they ran the draw with Anthony White, the junior fullback. The gamble pays off.
On first down, Couch, flag is down, got it complete. That's Coleman. First time we've seen him in the second half. He did a lot of good things in the first half. Anthony King makes the stop on him.
I think offside on Penn State again.
Offside, defense, declined, first down.
Jerry Sandusky pacing the sidelines, hollering commands to his defense. Running play again. Nothing doing this time. Derek Homer gets hit by Fleischhauer, and there's no place to go, so Maurice Daniels helps out. Now, reminding you of the graphic that we showed you at the beginning of the second half. Penn State has outscored the opponent 134-47 in the second half of its last 7 bowl games.
Good statistic, but I think Kentucky still has life in them here, and they're still a big play offensive team that can get down the field and score and make this a football game.
Well, Penn State really backing up that secondary, and Scioli is right there as the ball is pitched to Homer. He was in the backfield, and on top of that, there is a flag. Now, was Scioli offside? We'll find out.
Brad Scioli on the stop. There's a flag on the play.
Dead ball foul. There is no play. False start on the offense.
Yeah, break for Kentucky.
Yeah, it is.
Left tackle moved on the play. Ron, talking about Tim Couch earlier, we talked about his draft status and how Mummy in our conversation said his decision would be based on his draft status. If he can be the one pick, then, you know, I've advised him that that's what he should do. If he goes down, of course, as you mentioned, then that's another possibility.
Meaning if he goes down in the draft, swings it out to Homer, and he's loose. 50, 40, 35, and finally caught from behind by Anthony King.
Well, it's a good thing Penn State brought Anthony King with him.
Boy, I'll tell you, if he had missed the bus, they could be in a world of hurt today.
Now, they'd be behind.
34 yards on the carry after the catch.
And this is what Tim Couch does well. Looks downfield, always has an outlet. Derek Homer's his outlet, and it's just like a running play once he gets the football.
Clock shows 8:46 to play in the ballgame. Kentucky down by 12 points, but showing new life on this drive right here.
Comstock again. They are so impressed, again, you know, with the speed of Penn State. Defensive linemen and the wide rush of Scioli. Scioli's had a big half in the second half here. And they're trying to lean back, just trying to get a jump, and starts too soon. Scioli getting a rest. Courtney Brown coming back into the ball game. Pecos. Left tackle this time, Ron.
Matt Brown.
We got the old rocking chair going.
Well, we thought this one might go 4 hours, and maybe longer.
Well, Courtney Brown just went back on the field. He had a rest to play before.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
Against any normal team, I'd say that's a tough break here. Brown against Brown right here. Matt Brown against Courtney Brown. But Kentucky's got so many big plays, possibilities. They can make this back up.
Well, we'll see. Mickelson at the top of your screen. 12 penalties now against the Wildcats. Couch flushed out of the pocket, and Derek Homer really takes a blow at Gatton, one of the first men to get there and make the hit on him.
Imani Bell also, Ron,
yeah.
57. And again, Jerry Sandusky now playing a lot of defensive linemen. Now he knows in the fourth quarter that he's got to rest his defensive linemen and keep them moving. Homer with the ball, and there's the hit.
Imani Bell, 6'4", 294. He's a junior out of Philadelphia. Clock runs at 8:08, now 8:07. Couch bouncing, drills the pass, complete at the 19-yard line.
No, they're going to call it.
No, they're going to say he did trap it.
The umpire came in with a call, Ron. Craig Yeast had 85 receptions this year.
Third down.
He's adamant about that he caught this football. The crowd just saw the replay.
Yeah, the crowd. It's a bad thing about having nice replay screens in the stadium.
This is 2-down territory for Kentucky.
Third down. Gets it right across the middle, and that is complete to Coleman. Ron Graham is there to make the tackle.
Well, if you go from your own 20, you're going to go right here for a fourth down play.
So the situation, we have 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the ballgame. Kentucky is trailing by 12, and they have a fourth down, and the line to make is just outside the 15-yard line. About the 15 and a half. Couch gets it complete, and boy, that's close. And I think he got it with the lean. Yes, he did. Oh, boy, Anthony King on the tackle. And Derek Homer is completely fired up right now. Yep, they don't even have to measure that one. It is sitting on the line.
Anthony King makes the play on Derek Comer. Just as you mentioned, just a little effort to get that first down, a little extra effort.
That lean. But it was Coleman he was wanting. And kind of nobody there. Brought a groan from the crowd.
And Tim Couch went right to Coleman and said, you know, it's my mistake. Too high. 7:13 left, Ron. Kentucky, a lot of time for them to get back in this ball game with a score here.
I'm sure that Hal Mummy, though, would like to knock it on in as quickly as they can, because he knows that Joe and the guys are going to run the football when they get it back. Pressure up the middle and lobbed a fade route, and nobody was there.
LeVar Arrington again hit Tim Couch and really got a lick on the quarterback. Arrington's been impressive. He's blitzed all afternoon. Big play linebacker.
Whether the Yeast or Couch, one of the two, confused on that play.
A lot of people compare LeVar Arrington to Lawrence Taylor. You know, the speed off the corner.
3rd down at 10. Couch goes for the end zone again, and it is too far. Here comes a late flag in. Arrington laid the lumber to Couch as the ball was delivered.
It's going to be a holding call on Penn State.
So from where the line of scrimmage is, we'll just wait and see where they mark it off. Should be in the vicinity about the 7.5-yard line.
Defensive holding. An eligible receiver was held beyond the line on a pass that crossed the line. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Arrington again with good pressure, and the hold by Penn State gives Kentucky a new set of downs.
And they get the ball at the 7.5-yard line, first down. Penn State leads it 26-14. This is the 14th play of this Kentucky drive. Couch, Brown, Courtney Brown is there for the 5th sack of the afternoon.
Ron, he came into this game with 11.5 sacks. Talked about Penn State's defense leading the Big Ten in sacks with 47. He was the biggest problem for this Kentucky offensive line. Matt Brown, number 75, he dips that shoulder and gets around the corner and makes that hit along with Aaron Gatton.
5 sacks today.
Not too bad. Ron gives him a little bit more room to maneuver.
You're right. 5 sacks, 42 yards off the run offense for Kentucky because of those sacks today. And make it 6. Courtney Brown again.
Busted play. The back went the wrong way. Supposed to be a draw, Ron. And the only one that was there to get the handoff was Courtney Brown of Penn State.
Well, that's a good way to get your good quarterback hurt.
Yeah, there's just that play blew up from the start.
So we're now under 6 minutes to play. 5:44 and counting.
Most teams, that'd be a problem for Kentucky.
You're right.
They still got 2 downs, and they still have big play possibilities.
Couch lobs it. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Scioli goes from one defensive end to the other as far as great plays.
He has had an excellent second half, and they moved him. They played tight end in 97. They moved him to defense in 98. Back again. You see the push he gets on Comstock. He said, I always knew I belonged to defensive end, and I would end up back on there on defense, and he has.
So this late in the ball game, down by 12, they're going to go for it on 4th down. 4th and goal from the 20. goes for the end zone. And there's a battle, and it is knocked away. Sean Lee.
Tried to run an old go switch, which is an old run and shoot play. Jimmy Robinson, Craig Yeast runs the post. Jimmy Robinson comes and runs the sideline. But Sean Lee was up for the challenge.
So there's a timeout. 5:22 left in the ball game, and Penn State leading by 12, and they have the football back. Well, kind of a distant stare on the face of Tim Couch. 17 plays, 60 yards, 5:41 the amount of time off the clock on that last drive for Kentucky, and no points. And right now Penn State is pitching a shutout here in the second half, 13 points to 0. Your tickets, Mike.
Yeah, some friends of mine. They were out late last night too.
Look like they're still out.
Light bulbs on though. Nobody home.
McCoo, and he did the unthinkable. He ran out of bounds instead of keeping it in the field of play. So it stops the clock at 5:17. Johnson pushed him out. It's David Johnson.
Yeah, Penn State wants a drive right now. David Johnson making the play, a freshman from Virginia. Mike Major watched him play on film, then he saw him play in person. He knew he could play, and he knew he could start as a freshman for the Kentucky defense. Mike Major's done a nice job on the defensive side of the ball for Kentucky. Nice plan here against Penn State.
Penn State's going to have to hurry. The play clock is down to 6, down to 5. Running play again. Big opening up the middle over the 30-yard line. That's enough for the first down. Zerker will make the tackle. College basketball coming up next week on ESPN, the season premiere of Super Tuesday. For the Big Ten, it's the Indiana Hoosiers taking on the Michigan Wolverines at 7:30 Eastern. Then for the SEC, the defending national champion Kentucky Wildcats are on the road to face the South Carolina Gamecocks. Well, Mike, I got a good one on Sunday afternoon. Going to fly up to College Park, Maryland. Duke and Maryland. Join Dick Vitale up there for a game on the Deuce. That's a decent little matchup. Could be like a national semifinal game.
My hotel has it in Phoenix. I'll be watching you.
Okay. Here's McCoo. He does not take this one out of bounds. Keeps it on the field of play. Schnettiger will make the tackle.
Ron, you talked about all the Kentucky people that came here to be a part of this festivities. I coached at Moorhead, went to school at Moorhead, Kentucky, coached at Murray State. Great communities. The people love their football, basketball, and Hal Mummy's done an outstanding job here. His coaching staff should be commended. They've got a nice football team. Tim Couch may be the best quarterback we've seen all year. And they've been some good ones. Cade McNown was a big Kentucky fan right there.
Sneaks outside, and he goes down just shy of the 40-yard line. Schnettiger combining with Eric Kelly.
You know, when we look back, seen Donovan McNabb, and I think he's an outstanding quarterback. Cade McNown, we talked about his presence, and this is the first time I can remember for a long time the draft is going to be benefited. I mean, we'll say even if the juniors don't come out at the quarterback position, that still, for the first time I can remember, a collection of quarterbacks coming out that's going to help NFL teams.
Yeah. Now look at this. The NCAA records that are there by his name. 67% completion. And sneaks on through, is going to have the first down. And that is very big right there. Kentucky may not get an opportunity to see this football again, as they'll stop the clock momentarily as David Johnson made the tackle. But behind that big offensive line, they walled it off, and now they're just running that clock down.
And Tim Couch, Ron, I hope he stays at Kentucky and plays another year in college football. But whatever he decides, he has brought the Kentucky faithful a great career, and he's brought a lot of oomph in this program.
There's no question about that. You talk about he gave them a lot of reason to get excited. Right. You know, this is Aaron Harris.
And they will be excited for a long time.
By the way, we asked Tim Couch, what are the major factors that will go into making his decision to enter this year's NFL draft?
Where do I think I'll end up in the draft is going to be a major factor in it. And, you know, unfortunately, if I do end up forcing to go first, I'm not going to know who the coach is by the time I have to announce. So that's going to be, you know, a little bit of a worry because I don't know whether they're going to be you know, bring in a passing coach or, you know, a running style-oriented team. So you never know what's going to happen. But I guess it's just kind of really a gut feeling when it comes down to it, kind of like picking a college. And, you know, I'll just go with my heart and pray about it a little bit and just see where I end up.
Well, you know, if he's not number one, then I think you'll stick by his guns because he enjoys school. He's doing well in school. He has done very well in the classroom. And I think he, just like Peyton Manning said last year, he enjoyed the experience. And, you know, why not? Yeah. And don't rule out, again, Ricky Williams being the #1 choice. A lot of teams would prefer to have a durable running back. Myself, I'd like to have a quarterback. And don't rule out the Cincinnati Bengals figuring something out. Mike Brown, from all indications, covets Couch. Well, all kind of numbers have been tossed around that if he did come out, if he was the #1, I mean, you know, as high as 5 years, $60 million. I don't know. It's kind of hard to pass by. He'd be right up there with our friend Lee Corso then, right? Yeah. Scioli puts a head down, and he's going to have the first down, I believe. And now here comes a late flag in from the secondary. I think this is going to be on Penn State. There's a late hit, but Penn State's pointing to somebody else, but it might have been on Caruso, number 74, after the first down. Nope. Maybe they got the Kentucky player first. Personal foul against the Wildcats. And Ron, on the other side, you know, Joe Paterno probably can't wait. He's going to take a little time off, and they recruit so well at Penn State, but next year he's got mostly everybody back. That stat I gave you earlier, 66 of the top 72 will be back. We saw a very young Purdue team the other night with Drew Brees, and they're going to be a contender for the Big Ten. This Big Ten conference next year, very strong. They better load it up, the wagons, because they've got some good teams and great players. So with the penalty, the ball is moved down to the 33-yard line of Kentucky. Harris runs into his own blocker, still fighting forward. He'll take it a yard further, and now Kentucky calls another timeout to stop the clock at 2:05, and we will take it with them. Timeout on the field, 26-14, Penn State. Right back. 26-14 with 2:06 left to play. The numbers on Couch: 29 of 47, 2 interceptions. 312 yards, or 321, I beg your pardon, and 2 touchdowns. Hal Mummy has one more timeout left. 2:04 to play in the game. Boy, you have to come back and look at that 4th down play, how big it was. It changed around this whole football game at the end. Really did. Penn State's ability to stop that 4th down attempt. Ciramelli, and he fights his way. Flag now comes down. Well, we're heading to Tempe, Arizona for John Junker and Tostitos Fiesta Bowl to do it on radio. Yep, we will do that. Like I said, I'm going to run up, do the basketball game in College Park, and then I will meet you guys in Tempe.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, and repeat the down. I think that's going to be an outstanding football game. And special teams, I'll tell you what, the special teams, talk about it coming down to one thing. They are so even in so many areas. And you look at the SEC yesterday, Ole Miss, David Cutcliffe wins his first ball game, and he's got an impressive team. He's got a young team. He needs to keep Rufus French here. Yeah. I think what they've got, 19 of their first 22. Oh, they're young.
David should be very pleased. They looked like a well-coached football team last night, and they haven't had that long to work.
Georgia, Jim Donnan, team spotted 21-point lead and then came back and won that ball game. So the SEC, Quincy Carter, he'll be back. Champ Bailey, we don't know about him.
Craig East on the sideline, and that picture just speaks volumes. Well, what an outstanding player. And
he's had a great career, Ron.
He has. He really has. And, you know, this is just not the way that they wanted it to go out. This was a big game for this program. But as I mentioned, Mummy got the new contract, $4 million, 5 years. CM Newton wanting to make sure that the players know. Now, some schools came after him this year, that they are solid and that Mummy is going to be there. He's got a great situation with Tubby Smith in basketball, and he wants to make sure that he maintains the same thing in football. And I think it was an extremely smart move by CM to do that and get it done down here. Got to be 4th down. They're not going to have the 1st down.
I think Kentucky's going to take their final timeout here, Ron.
48 seconds left in the ball game.
And Tampa, what can we say about this bowl? We came out of the Alamo Bowl, and they did a great job in San Antonio. We talked about all the Kansas State fans. This Tampa group, Jim McVay's done a very nice job, and you can see, Ron, we're hoping to have a bowl in Mobile, Alabama next year, and you can see why people want bowls, man. The festivities, and everybody's excited, and this was a well-attended, sold-out game.
What about Penn State for next year? Would you look at the schedule? We talk about they got so many kids back. Akron, Pittsburgh at Miami on the 18th. Tough ball game. I think Miami is real close to being back. In an afternoon game, that's not a comfortable situation for the Nittany Lions. Then they go into conference play. You see, they get Ohio State at home. They get Michigan at home.
I'm going to put an NC schedule up there. That's a national championship schedule there. It's got possibilities right there for Penn State with all these players got back that they have. And looking at that schedule, getting Ohio State at home.
Yep.
That's you can write Florida State. We know is going to be one of the teams. I think Virginia Tech will be a top 7, 8, 9, 10 team, and Penn State will be battling for everybody.
When people tell Joe that you already put the hex on him, possible national championship, he's going to say, "Don't do that to me, Michael. Don't do that to me." 4th down and short, and going to have it. Termele will take it inside to 20. Now here comes a late flag down.
Illegal block in the back. Offense during the play. 10 yards. Repeat the down.
So repeat 4th down.
There's a late flag there by the official, and forces another play by Penn State.
Coming up next, Magnus von Magnuson and company battle it out for the 1998 World's Strongest Man competition. That comes up as soon as we are finished here in Tampa.
We got a couple of our crew ought to be in that competition.
Strong.
Not going to answer that, huh?
Strong, yeah. So here comes Penn State. 4th down and about 5.5 yards to pick it up. McCoo. No place to go, and he goes down. Now, remember, Kentucky cannot stop the clock. They have no timeouts left. They do not pick up the 1st down, but the clock momentarily is stopped with 13 ticks showing up there. So Couch will come on one more time.
You're talking about the game, Tennessee and Florida State. Who do you like in that ball game?
Well, I'm not going to, since we're doing it, I don't like to do that. But I'll tell you this, it is going to come down to special teams. And 2 things in that ball game I'm influenced by. Bobby Bowden's record when he has more than 2 weeks to prepare for you, and special teams. And I think that Florida State has the edge in the kicking game.
Florida State, one thing about them, they're peaking at the right time.
Ball is caught just across the 40. Clock is down to 5. It came loose and now has been picked up by Penn State. And guess who? Anthony King. And would this be poetic justice? He does not get it into the end zone, though.
But he is the player of the game on that defense.
He has to be the player of the game. Now a fumble recovery and 2 interceptions on the afternoon. Anthony King has been just sensational.
Last play, Tim Couch trying to make something happen. To get the reception and the fumble, Anthony King wisely picks it up.
And does not quite get it into the end zone. Let's go down to the field and Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron standing by with the winningest coach as far as bowls are concerned in college football. Coach, very well done. Congratulations. Really followed through in the game plan today. I think finally in the 3rd and 4th quarter you warmed up.
Well, I think maybe that happened, but they're a good football team. They played a run real well, and we obviously we didn't catch the ball very well most of the day, which made it tough for ourselves. But I thought our defense, after they got accustomed to the pace, were the ones that really, they played a great football game against a great offensive team. Because Kentucky's a fine offensive football team.
Your linebackers making a lot of noise today. Arrington, Courtney Brown.
Yeah, well, Brown and Shioli are the unsung heroes of this team. Everybody likes to talk about the linebackers, but our 2 defensive ends have played great football all year.
Your impressions of Tim Couch after today?
He's a great player, great tough player, strong. A couple times I thought we had him, and he got out of it. He ran better than I thought he could run. I think he's a heck of a football player.
Congratulations on a victory, 8th consecutive bowl day victory. Congratulations, Coach.
All right, Penn State. Good luck, guys. You're doing great. All right, Penn State.
So, Mike, quick comment on Couch. I guess we just wait and see. January the 8th is decision time.
Yeah, very impressed with him, Ron. Give credit to Penn State's defense. They came in averaging only giving up 15 points, held Kentucky to 14.
Our final score, Penn State 26 and Kentucky 14. Stay tuned. The world's strongest man is coming up next. And don't forget the Bowl Championship Series game later tonight over on ABC, leading up to Monday night's national championship game. For Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.